All right, so we give praise, esteem, and honor to the living Alahym in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach today. Let's pick this up in John chapter 5, verse 39. Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and there they which testify of me. And you will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Alahym in you. I come in my Abba's name, you receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe which receive honor one from another, and not the honor that comes from Alahym only? Do not think I will accuse you to Abba. There's one that accuses you, even Moses, in whom you trust. Had you believed Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote of me. But if you believe not his writings, how should you believe my words? All praises be to the living Alahym in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. Let's get this Genesis 1 and 27. So Alahym created man in his own image, or in his image. In the image of Alahym created he him, male and female created he them. So that being said, let's roll back over here to 1 Chronicles 22 for a moment. First Chronicles 22. We'll pick it up at verse 9. Shalom, man.
Listen.
Behold, a son shall be born unto you, who shall be a man of rest. I will give him rest from all his enemies round about, for his name shall be Solomon. I will give peace and quietness unto Yasharal in his days. Shalom, brother Ellis. He shall build a house for my name. He shall be my son. I, his Abba, I will establish the throne of his Malkuth over Yasharal forever. Now, my son, Yahuwah be with you and prosper you and build the house of Yahuwah, your Alahym, he has said of you. Only Yahuwah give you wisdom and understanding and give you charge concerning Yasharal, that you may keep the law of Yahuwah, your Alahym. Then you shall prosper if you take heed to fulfill the statutes and judgments which Yahuwah charged Moses concerning Yasharal. Be strong and of good courage. Dread not, nor be dismayed. Now behold, in my trouble I have prepared for the house of Yahuwah 100,000 talents of gold, 1,000 talents of silver, and of brass and iron without weight. For it is in abundance. Timber, also stone have I prepared, that you may add thereto. Moreover, workmen with you in abundance, hewers and workers of stone, and timber, and all manner of cunning men for every manner of work, of gold, the silver, the brass, the iron, no number. Arise and be doing, Yahuwah be with you. David also commanded all the princes of Yasharal to help Solomon his son. Not Yahuwah your Alahym with you, and have he given you rest on every side? For he's given the happiness of the land into my hand. The land is subdued before Yahuwah and before his people. Now set your heart and your soul to seek Yahuwah your Alahym. Arise therefore and build you the sanctuary, Yahuwah your Alahym, to bring the ark of the covenant of Yahuwah and the Kadash vessels of Alahym into the house that is to be built to the name of Yahuwah. So pause. I want y'all to take a look at verses 14, verses 15, and tell me what you gather from that. Verses 14, verses 15. Girl, sit down. Be quiet. I'm about to hear all that. You're over there faking. Verses 14 and 15. Behold, in my trouble. See, we give him my trouble. I do the tie-in for atonement. We didn't do it last night. I do it today.
That is Oni. That is affliction, poverty, misery.
Affliction, in my misery. He said, I have prepared for the house of Yahuwah 100,000 talents. 1,000 talents of talents. He said brass and iron without weight. Tell him what that means without weight. Shalom, Brother Reynolds.
Weight is mishkal, that is heaviness or weight.
No weight. No heaviness. Y'all ain't figured it out yet? He said, moreover, workmen with you in abundance, hewers and workers of stone and timber, men of cunning, all manner of cunning men, for every manner of work. Y'all ain't figured it out yet?
Well, verse 15 be referring to like
Come on,
apostles, teachers, and
I don't know. You asking me, you tell me.
That's what it sounds like.
Huh?
That's what it sounds like.
That's what it sounds like. You asking?
No, that's what it sounds like. I'm setting up people to spread the word.
God, what you basing that off of?
That's Second Timothy. The workman. So that's approved to be a worker. Building the house. If the workman building the house, that would be the workman building the house. People going to teach the word.
I don't sound confident. You got something over there, Jim Dandy? You looking like you don't got nothing. He got his old man socks on. The old dog. He got narcolepsy. Call it what you want. Old thing socks. You go past your ankles. You got on tube socks. Those are over the calf socks. That's what they call them. They call them OTCs. No, they don't. They used to. They don't anymore. Huh? Yeah, I got a pair of Atlanta Braves. I didn't say I didn't have any. I never denied it. So there's that. But yeah, that first thing you have to deal with is in his trouble, he's prepared for the house. So give him prepared by definition.
That's clean. To be firm.
So that's
stable,
cool again. Same word we were talking about the other day. Prepared. So and he prepared in his misery, in his affliction, he prepared for the house. Got all manner of things prepared and established aforetime. Let me show you what I mean. Come over here to Ephesians, I believe, chapter 1. Who doing all that crying? That's Lizzie? That's Lizzie. That's Lizzie. That's Lizzie. I see Lizzie. Oh, that's Leah? Oh, it's Sai. Come on, man. Ephesians 1 and 3.
Baruch be the Alahym and Abba of our Lord Yahushua HaMashiach, who have blessed us with all spiritual blessings and heavenly and Hamashiach, according as he have chosen us in him before the foundation of the world.
He did what?
Chose us before the foundation of the world.
He did what?
Chose us in him before the foundation of the world.
That we should be
holy and without blame before him in love.
Having
predestined us unto the adoption of children.
By who?
Yahushua Mashiach to himself, according to the good pleasure of his will, to the praise of the esteem of his grace, wherein he had made us accepted in the beloved, in whom we have redemption through his blood, the forgiveness of sins, according to the riches of his grace.
Go ahead.
Wherein he have abounded toward us in all wisdom and prudence.
You know what prudence is, right? Y'all know what prudence is? What it is? You shaking your head. Glory. So you don't know. She don't know what it means. It's a synonym. Ain't nobody asked you for no synonym. What it mean in Greek?
It was understanding.
Understanding. You ain't get that right. Nowhere near. You was in another stadium. We was at Yankee Stadium. You was at Shea Stadium. You was cross town. That's still over the border. Whole nother laws. They pay state income tax. We don't. You can't go because you ain't an alumni. You can't get a ticket. But yeah, y'all ain't catch that. How you supposed to remember that? He said, read it again, Civic.
Wherein he have abounded toward us in all wisdom and prudence.
What it said Solomon had, that only Solomon had to have charge. You see how that works. Hey, why y'all walking around here eating food? Why you being rude and disrespectful? Sit your butt down with them crackers or put them away. Matter of fact, put them away. Nah, don't ball your face up now. Tuck your lip in. Don't eat no more. Continue.
Having made known unto us the mystery of his will.
Notice that he said only Solomon had the charge to build the house, correct? So that means Solomon was the one who would unfold that secret of how he wanted that done. Come on.
According to his good pleasure, which he has purposed in himself, that in his dispensation of the fullness of times he might gather together in one all things in the Mashiach, both which are in Shamahim, which are on earth, and him, in whom we have obtained an inheritance, being predestinated.
You were being what?
Predestinated, according to the purpose of him who worked all things after the counsel of his own will.
Work all things after the counsel of his own will. Go ahead.
That we should be to the praise of his esteem, who first trusted in the Mashiach.
In whom
you also, after that you have heard.
Notice that he said, whom you would trust in him also after you've heard the word of truth, the gospel of your salvation, and whom also after that you believe, you were what? Sealed with the Ruach HaKodesh promise. Now, he just running to you the process of how you would be sealed. You would first need to believe the word of truth, the gospel of your salvation. See, most people, I'm telling you, they ain't never heard the gospel to believe it in the first place. Slow, man. See, finding out you Israelite, are you supposed to keep the law? That is not the good news. Just on general principle, because we read it in Romans chapter 10 last night. Somebody get Isaiah 52. You can pick it up at verse 3. Isaiah 52 and 3. That's what we need. Isaiah 52 and 3. After that, Leviticus 23 and 27.
Let's say, for thus says Yahuwah, ye have sold yourself for naught.
You sold yourself for what?
For naught.
For what?
For nothing.
For absolutely nothing, and you'll be redeemed?
Without money.
See, you ain't been redeemed with silver and gold and corruptible things from the vain conduct and behavior of your fathers, but the precious blood of a lamb without spot, wrinkle, and blemish. Go ahead.
For thus said Yahuwah Alahym, my people went down aforetime to Mizraim to sojourn, and the Assyrians oppressed them without cause.
Oppressed them without. Hold on, y'all. Pause. I'm gonna have to share this with y'all right now. I want somebody to get me 1 Samuel 15 and 1, man. I didn't want to show you how people have an improper view of Yahuwah and doing something that Yahuwah, because remember it just said the Assyrian oppressed you without cause. Ain't that what it said? See, sometimes people have it goes back to the conversation we just had, that people want Yahuwah to operate how they believe Yahuwah should operate. So 1 Samuel 15 and 1, let it go.
Samuel also said unto Saul,
what he said to him?
Yahuwah sent me to anoint you king over his people, over Yasharal.
That's right.
Now therefore hearken you unto the voice of the words of Yahuwah.
What he told him to do.
Hearken unto the voice of the words.
No, keep going.
Thus say Yahuwah of hosts, I remember which Amalek did to Yasharal.
Hold on, I remember what?
Which Amalek did to Yasharal.
What did he do?
How he laid for him in the way when he came up from Egypt.
When he did what?
laid in wait for him in the way when he came up in Egypt.
So what he finna tell him to do? Read it.
Now go and smite Amalek.
Go kill them all.
And utterly destroy all that they have.
Kill everything.
And spare them not.
Don't spare nobody.
But slay both man and woman.
Man and woman.
Infant and suckling.
Infant and baby on the titty.
Ox and sheep.
Ox and sheep.
Camel and ass.
Camel and ass.
And Saul gathered the people together.
Pause. A brother said he don't believe. He said that's not the creator. He said the law say you shall not murder. But he telling him to kill them people. But see, he left the verse out that he said they laid in wait in Mizraim. Now get Exodus 17:1, and you can see where this come from. Now, of course, he was a little taken aback because he asked, he said, so you saying that this is okay to kill babies? Yes. Yes, it is. Because guess what Amalek was going to do to you? Kill your baby. So he did to him what he thought to do to you. But like I said, in his mind, he looking at it is that's not the creator because the creator wouldn't do that. Who told you that? Let me tell y'all something, man. Did he not flood the earth during the days of Noah? You better believe it was babies and infants and babies on the titty, and they died right then. See, people forget what their books say. People get their books say the children of the wicked are made for what? The sword. One thing for certain and two things for sure. You can't tell this man what he gonna do with what he created when you go against what he said. Because I told him killing Amalek babies wasn't without cause. He said killing babies gotta have a cause. You doggone right. You doggone right. I ain't got nothing to say, but I ain't got no problem with it. Exodus 17:1, man, let it go. Oh, I can't go over there with you, sir.
It said, and all the congregation of the children of Yasharal joined from the wilderness of Sin after their journeys according to the commandment of Yahuwah and pitched in Rephidim. And no water for the people.
We don't need all that. That's too much information. Drop down to verse 8.
It said, then came Amalek and fought with Yasharal and Rephidim.
Came and fought with him in Rephidim.
And Moses said unto Yahushua, choose out of us men to go out and fight with Amalek. Tomorrow I will stand on the top of the hill with the rod of Alahym in my hand. So Yahushua did, and Moses said to him and fought with Amalek. And Moses and Aaron and Hur went up to the top of the hill.
They went up where?
To the top of the hill.
How many men went on the top of the hill?
3.
How many was on the stake? Okay, go ahead.
And it came to pass when Moses held up his hand that Yasharal prevailed.
Notice when he say he held up his hand, what happened? Remember what we read in Job 11? He said, if you're going to come to him, what you need to do with your hands? Spread them out. What did Paul tell you about? When you pray, you need to spread what? Kadash hands with no wrath and without what? No doubt. When Yahushua was on that stake, hands praying to his father, that man had no wrath in his heart because he said, Abba, forgive them. They know not what they do. And it wasn't no doubt in him because he said, man, I thirst and it's finished because he knew he was going to get up. Keep on rolling. I know that's right, Eve.
It said, it came to pass when Moses held up his hands that Yasharal prevailed. And when he left his hands, Amalek
Now,
prevailed.
in this story, Amalek would be representing the devil. More importantly, sin and death that the devil had authority over. You understand? That's what that representative about, because we just talked about that last night, destroying the enemy, the last enemy being death, and putting his enemies under his footstool. See, that's what Amalek is representative of when you look at the testimony in this particular story. Continue.
It says, but Moses' hands heavy, they took a stone and put it under him and set him thereon. Aaron and Hur stayed his hands on one side and the other on the other side. And his hands were steady until the going down of the sun.
Notice his hands were steady till when Yahushua gave up the ghost. The going down of the sun. Also, you can see it twofold because Yahushua, son of Nun, is fighting Amalek. You see him actually fighting your enemies on his return and redeeming you on the 6th day to prepare you to be a son of God at the same time. Shalom, brother Shaul. At the same time, you're getting two different things at the same time. Because better believe Amalek gonna be right there in the midst with them people. How we know Amalek gonna be right there in the midst with them people? Because Psalms 83 tell you all the nations of the earth gonna turn over and ride with the beast. It ain't just gonna be no singular thing. And of course, we know what tribe is the man of sin gonna emulate from. He could very well be from the seed of Amalek. Amalek definitely would have some good beef. What we finna get ready to read. Continue.
It said Yahushua discomfited Amalek and his people with the edge of the sword.
And Yahuwah
Said to Moses, write this a memorial in the book.
He said, write it in a book and rehearse it. Somebody give the definition of rehearse.
Rehearse is soon. to appoint, to bring, to call, to name, to consider.
So to tell them again so they can consider. What he want them to consider. Look who he wants to consider it. Read it. See who he want to consider it.
And in the ears of Yahushua for our
Look at what he told us. So he want this to be in a memorial, in a book, and spoken into the ears of Yahusha, because he the one gonna do it. Go ahead.
For I will utterly put out the remembrance of Amalek from under Shamahim.
He gonna do what?
Utterly put out the remembrance.
This man say he gonna block them out from under heaven. That's why you see first. That's why you see that 1 Samuel 15 to begin with. This man has promised, according to his name, he gonna block these people from under heaven. Continue.
And Moses built an altar and called it the name of it Yahuwah Nisi.
So
he said, because Yahuwah have sworn.
Yahuwah
will have war with Amalek from generation to generation.
So that's why you see that 1 Samuel 15, because he done swore in his name. He going to war with these people from one period of time to another period of time. So when you see him telling to go do that, see, that's the thing. You can't reference the 1 Samuel 15 and then don't reference where that come from, because now you see that's what caused. When them people were coming up out of Egypt, guess what you ain't have? You ain't had no weapons of war. You ain't had none of this here. He thought you was in a weak position and he could seize upon you and take you out. And Yahuwah said, because you chose to do that, I'm going to wipe your name out from under heaven. So you know what that tell you? Not just talking about no Esau, but the seed of Amalek one day will be no more. That's telling you that the seed of Amalek will not enter into the kingdom of heaven forever. Y'all get that? No, that's what he said, right? He going to wipe out their remembrance from under heaven. Didn't what he said? He wipe your remembrance out from under heaven. That means your name ain't in the book. That means that sin they committed that day, their name was wiped out the book. Because what did Moses say? He said, block me out of your book, right? What Yahuwah told him. He said, he that sin against me, I'll blot out my book. That's what he just said right there, didn't it? But that's why he can go to say, kill everybody with Amalek, because it don't matter. They not getting in. See, this is what people think. You can't sin against Yahuwah and think, oh, it don't matter. Oh, my God will love you. That ain't your God, nigga. Your God is the devil. You know what I'm talking about? Because people got it twisted, boy. Yahuwah will murk something. But you know one thing that Yahuwah won't do? He won't murk nobody without cause. You sin against him, that man justified in killing you. God bless Brother Langford. He justified in it. He ain't wrong. We just had this conversation with people. They talking about that unconditional love. Ain't no such thing as unconditional love. Anybody that got unconditional love is somebody's love that is not worth having. Because that's a love with no standards. I don't want nobody to love me unconditionally. That's foolish. People say, I love my kids unconditionally. No, I don't. You know what I'm talking about? I don't. People know what love is. Love is not a feeling. See, they talking about a feeling of an emotional attachment. And that emotional attachment don't have no conditions to it. That's what people really be talking about. Because if you go into this word, that man say, give me Proverbs 8 and 17. Let the man take it.
You have apples on your book.
I love them that love me, and those that seek me early shall find me.
He said he loved those that what?
Love me.
He loved those that what?
Love me.
John 14 and 15. I don't know where they got that. I know where they're getting it from. You got a lot of people that see certain things that Yahuwah did in the text, and they saying that the nations have rewritten the text, or the scribes have falsified the word and interjected their God in the text. You know what I'm saying? So they saying that God who would kill babies and infants, see, that's not Yahuwah. That's the nation's false idol, and that's simply because they don't know Yahuwah. Because what did he tell you in Exodus 15 and 3? He said he is a man of war.
You'll be all right.
Matter of fact, run that is Exodus 15 and 1 before you run what I just mentioned. John 14 and 15. Exodus 15 and 1.
It said, then sang Moses the children of Yasharal this song unto Yahuwah, and spake, saying, I will sing unto Yahuwah, for he hath triumphed gloriously. The horse and his rider have he thrown into the sea. Yahuwah is my strength and my song. He has become my salvation.
He's become my what?
My salvation.
My salvation.
He is my Alahym, and I will prepare him a habitation.
He'll do what? He'll prepare him a what?
A habitation.
Prepare him a what?
A habitation.
What David was working to do. So what Yahushua was getting ready to do? Prepare him a what?
Habitation.
That's right. And David got it prepared, and who built it? Solomon. You see how it's still going to be the same conversation. Come on.
My Abba Alahym, I will exact him. Yahuwah is a man of war.
He's a man of what?
A man of war.
Man of what?
A man of war.
Come on.
Yahuwah is his name.
Yahuwah is his name. You can play with it if you want to, but this man is a man of war. And he ain't got no problem with it. Go ahead and give him the definition of man of war, man. This is for people who don't know. I know y'all do know, but just in case those who don't know.
Malekama.
You already know, Malekama. What that mean?
To battle, to fight.
To battle,
Warfare.
to fight. Who, what up?
Warfare.
Warfare. That man like to fight. You know what I'm talking about? He ain't got no problem with it. But see, it's not the type of fight that you thinking about. This righteous battle. See, he just don't fight flesh and blood. Ain't that what Paul told him?
Yes, not against us.
We don't just fight flesh and blood. We will fight flesh and blood, but that ain't the only thing we fight around here. But see, people don't want to hear that. You know what I'm talking about? Because it don't make you feel good. I man say he a man of war, man. Let me tell you something, man. This man done fought many wars. Many wars. You know what's funny? I guess people ain't got a problem that he killed the firstborn of Egypt then. He killed babies there too. You thought firstborn was just grown men? That's all firstborn. Guess what? And he wasn't wrong. Because guess what they were doing to the house of Yasharal male sons? What they were doing? Killing them. So guess what they got back? What you put out. They got just judgment, a good balance. He rendered right back into their bosom what they sought to do to another. Ain't that's what our law say to do? He say, what you thought to do to him, let that be done unto him. I don't know what that nigga don't know the Lord. At the end of the day, they don't know him. Because you want him to be something. You know why people don't want him to be like that? Because then he can't exact judgment and revenge on his enemies. Somebody give me Deuteronomy 7:6, man. Then John chapter 14, verse 15. It's the same thing when we were talking about that preterist jump and Black Jesus minister told the truth. He said, boy, them boys don't want no judgment. Them boys want to take that judgment out. It is judgment. You ain't lied. They want to take that judgment out. That's why they want to say everything fulfilled. Because if you say everything fulfilled, then ain't no judgment to be had. Come on, man. Deuteronomy 7:6.
It says, for thou art a Kadash people unto Yahuwah thy Alahym, and Yahuwah thy Alahym has chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all the people that are upon the face of the earth.
Uh-huh.
And Yahuwah did not set his love upon you, nor choose you, because you were more in number, more than number than any people, for ye the fewest of all people.
Fewest.
But because Yahuwah loves you, and because he would keep the oath which he had sworn unto your fathers, have Yahuwah brought you out with a mighty hand, and redeemed you out of the house of bondmen from the hand of Pharaoh, the king of Egypt.
That's right.
Know therefore that Yahuwah the Alahym, he is Alahym, the faithful Alahym, which keepeth covenant of mercy.
That's right.
With them that love him and keep his commandments.
That's
to
right.
1,000 generations.
That's right.
And repay them that hate him to
He
their face.
repaid them that hate him to their what?
To their face.
He repaid them that hate him to their where?
Their face.
To their back.
To their face.
To the side.
To their face.
Straight to their face.
To destroy them.
To do what?
To destroy them.
To do what?
To destroy
See,
them.
they see the scribes added that. No, they didn't. Why would somebody want to tell you that God will destroy you for doing wickedness? You can't do wickedness and not expect a penalty. Go ahead, man.
I said he will not be slack to him that hateth him.
He will not be what?
Slack to him.
Give him the
that hateth
definition of slack, just in Hebrew. Y'all know what slack mean in English, but see what it mean in Hebrew.
A car.
A car.
To procrastinate.
He ain't gonna hesitate.
To delay.
He ain't gonna delay.
To tear.
Hold on, let me show you something in 2 Peter. He said he ain't gonna tear. So when he say slack, he's not gonna procrastinate. I don't know. I might want to do it later. Nah, he killing you now. See, nigga don't like it. See, I'm gonna give you this one here, because see, that's what that old sucker duck, old Bo Rickle goofball nigga dropped yesterday. So come over here to 2 Thessalonians real quick, like. I got 2 Thessalonians. You ain't got to worry about it. I'm gonna get you this 2 Thessalonians, and then I'm gonna get you this 2 Peter. I'm gonna get you this 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. I want you to come over here to about verse 9. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 9. See, this is a dangerous place to be right here in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 9. Whose coming is after the working of the adversary, with all power and signs and lying wonders, and with all deceivableness and unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. Notice that he said all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish. All them that have been deceived by doing wrong is going to die. See, Amalek came up and they were deceived by doing wrong, and that's why they died. And they ought to die. How these niggas be claiming they warriors and you crying about nigga killing babies? Don't you know one day you might have to kill a baby, nigga? Nigga, that's what happens in war. I'm sorry to tell you. Talk to some soldiers who done been in war. And some of them can tell you they still haunted to this day because they had to kill some children. A lot of them, when they went over there and signed up for the Army or for the Marines, they wasn't expecting they were going to have to go over there and kill some children. It didn't enter into their mind that was going to happen. That's a part of war, though.
That child got a bomb strapped to his chest.
It ain't even about the child having a bomb strapped to his chest. That's just how it go. Because, see, this is why this got, we done told you this before. Anybody who watched Kung Fu movies in their time, they know how it go. You can't come through there and kill this little boy whole family. You know what I'm talking about? Uncles and daddies, granddaddies, and think that this boy not going to grow up plotting for your downfall. All he going to be spending his whole life on is the day that I can come back and kill all of y'all. So you got to get rid of him. You got to get rid of him. That's how that works. That's right. He going to seek revenge. But see, people, you know why you're not familiar with that? Because you live in a first world country. You ain't never had them problems. You ain't like what you seen the people in the Ukraine. You seeing war at your front door. You unaccustomed to that. So the actual horrors of war, that ain't something you familiar with. But I'm here to tell you that that happens in war. Whether you like it or don't like it or think it's right or think it's wrong is irrelevant. I'm just telling you what happens. Children get killed. You know what I'm talking about? You notice ain't nobody had nothing to say about Obama. Obama dropped doggone drone missiles on little children in Pakistan for his entire tenure as president. See, you didn't know about that, did you, Dory? Oh, yeah, he killed a lot of children. He killed a lot of children. I ain't saying that out of no like that's a good thing or a bad thing. That's what he did, though. Did you hear about they used to do the drone strikes and all that? They were children they were killing, not just exclusively. Yeah, they were killing children. But it's like I said, it's not like salute, man. It's not like they were going out looking for children. You know what I'm saying? It's not like, ooh, I think it's a whole bunch of kids over here. Nah, if it was some kids over there and you the target, them children dying today. And they ain't, guess what? And they ain't finna shed a tear about it. You know what I'm saying? That's why everybody's not meant to be a mighty man of war. Everybody ain't meant for that because it's ugly. It's ugly. You done heard, I've heard stories of soldiers telling, like, hey, boy, I had to up my 5-man. Nigga went to bun, I went to gunning. You know what I'm saying? We done cleared the area, come up, it was churn. You know what I'm saying? Churn trying to kill them. All they knowing is they taking gunfire. They got to return it because they want to go home. That little boy in that foreign land, he's sitting back looking at you coming to infringe on our culture and way of life. I was raised to resist people like you. So I'm gunning at you. You know what I'm talking about? See, we don't realize that, man. Them little kids, man, them people raised to say, hell no, we don't want to drink Coca-Cola and watch movies, man. We don't want women empowerment. We like the way we've been living. We like the God we've been serving. And we want to keep it that way. And we'll fight by it. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. You don't think children got killed when you came through and you took out the Hittites, the Girgashites, the Jebusites, the Amorites? You ain't think you ain't killed no children when you did that? Because what did he tell you to do with all them? He don't leave nobody alive. Man, these niggas was right here lying on the word the other day when they were talking about you could take you a woman of a nation when you come through, talking about if she was a widow. No, that's not what our law say. Our law say she could have never been with a man before a day in her life because you can't take no woman who done been with a man. You killed her husband. She been defiled. Another man been in her. We don't want her. She dies. Because unfortunately, in antiquity, and even still to this day, women are spoils of war. You don't have to like it. You don't have to agree with it. I'm just telling you reality. If you go into, if your country is being invaded and there's a war, men take women and some of them rape women. I'm not telling you that it's right. I'm just telling you that's what happens. You know what I'm saying? Ain't that what it said in Zechariah? Get Zechariah 14, they think I'm playing. The book don't tell you. It's harsh. I'm just giving you harsh realities of life. Again, you don't have to like it, but God forbid you ever be in a war zone, you'll find out. I already know. Zechariah 14:1.
Behold, the day of Yahuwah come, and your spoil shall be divided in the midst of you.
That's right.
For I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle.
That's right.
And the city shall be taken, and the houses rifled, and the women ravished.
It said the women will be ravished. Give them ravished by definition. To
To
copulate.
allow it.
They're going to have sex with the women. Now, some people, well, why would God not stop it? He's just telling you, he's giving you insight of what's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? It's not about, see, let me tell you something, right? Because I told the brother this the other day, and we done had a conversation before, like, about, not necessarily telling your old lady all your problems and all your feelings. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, bro, she going to look at you a particular type of way. Niggas was getting in their feelings. I'm like, it's nothing to get in your feelings about. It's not right. It's not wrong. It's just reality. Why are you upset with reality? That woman don't want to hear that. You know what I'm saying? Stop. Now you sit down because you're not following directions. You ain't have to sit on the floor. You could have sat in the chair. You understand what I'm saying? Do you understand how some people get upset with things that just are reality? Guess what? It's reality that if you come in the house crying and ain't nobody died, your old lady might look at you different after that. Is she wrong for that? I would say no. Is she right for that? I would say no. But her natural inclination of how she's made up and how she has to view this particular character is just what it is. It's how she's made. So why be mad about it? You know what dudes say? I ain't got nobody to talk to. You got plenty of men to talk to. You just want to look at your woman like your mama. You feel like you should come talk to her like you talk to your mama. She's not your mama. You know what I'm saying? She's not your mama. So there's that. Get over it. It's funny to me that in this day and time that we have so many men that don't want to talk to other men about what they got going on. You know what I'm saying? They just don't want to do it. It's better for you to go find a group of men to kick it with when you got stuff going on. Because I think that's what one of the ladies said. We feel left out. She said it's giving gay. That's what the lady said. It's giving gay. So because men sit with other men and discuss men's issues and problems, they're homosexual because they're not talking to you. But guess what? You never heard a man a day in your life say it's giving lesbian because women sit with other women and talk about women's problems and women's issues. You ain't never heard a man call you no lesbian for that. Y'all grow up doing it. From middle school on up, y'all sit around, you call each other crying. Ain't it, what's wrong with you, girl? I don't even know. I'm just saying. Oh, you just did that other day. Mm-hmm. Guess what? No man walking gonna be like, man, my old lady a lesbian, man. All she do is hang with, you know what I'm talking about? Come on, bro. You know why she call her friends with that? Because them ain't real issue. Because if it's a real issue, she gonna bring it to you. Because she know you gonna fix it. But all the emotional stuff, she ain't nobody gonna be like, she giving lesbian, bro. They eating coochie. Every time she got a problem, she talking with her homegirl. That's dumb. You see how dumb that is to say men gay for that? Come on, man. John chapter 14, verse 15. That junk retarded, bro.
If you love me, keep my commandments.
If you what?
Love me, keep my commandments.
That's how you gonna love him.
And I will pray the Father, he shall give you another comforter.
He gonna give you what?
Another comforter.
Another what?
Another comforter.
What that comforter gonna do?
That he may abide with you forever.
He gonna dwell with you for how long?
Forever.
For a week.
Forever.
For a month.
Forever.
For a few years.
Forever.
Okay.
The Ruach of truth, whom the world cannot receive.
The world can't what?
Can't receive.
When you can't, they can't what?
Can't receive.
They can't get it.
Because it see him not, neither
That's
know
a fact,
him.
Bro.
But you know him, for he dwell with you, and he shall be in you.
Notice that, right? You see how he say he'll dwell in you? Remember what we read last night? That word ain't far from you. It's near to you in your mouth, so you can do it. See that word right there? It's right there with you now. Where we was at before that? I know we knocked out John 14, Exodus 17. I need that 2 Peter. Come on. Because he said he ain't slack. Let me get this 2 Peter. I ain't finished 2 Thessalonians either. Let me finish that. Muffania, you bet not. You bet not, Muffania. You always cheesing, Muffania. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 10. With all deceivableness and unrighteousness of them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. And for this cause Alahym shall send them a strong delusion, that they should believe a lie, that they all might be damned who believe not in the truth, but have pleasure in unrighteousness. But we are bound to give thanks always to Alahym for you, brethren, beloved of the Lord, because Alahym from the beginning have chosen you to salvation through sanctification of the Ruach and belief of the truth. See, that go back to what we were talking about with David, preparing all those elements, right? Getting workmen prepared to do the work. They had already been selected. Like what we read in Ephesians, 2 Peter chapter 2. Come on, Muffin Man. It's time for you to get a tan. You want a tan? Huh? Tan your butt. 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 1. Come on. Come on. Come on. Square head, boy. But there were false prophets also among the people, even as there shall be false teachers among you, who shall privily bring in damnable heresies, even denying the Lord that brought them, bringing upon themselves swift destruction. That's what that gentleman did yesterday, bringing in a damnable heresy. Many shall follow their pernicious ways, by reason of whom the way of truth shall be evil spoken of. And through covenant shall they with feigned words make merchandise of you, whose judgment now of a long time linger not, and their damnation slumber not. See, he ain't gonna waste no time. That damnation coming for you. You can't do Yahuwah like that, man, and think you're gonna slide. What we need now, man. I ain't holding nothing else. We can go back to 1 Chronicles 22. So that's right, Leviticus 23 and 27. That's what it was. Leviticus chapter 23, verse 27. Because he just observed atonement, and unlike most congregations, we just don't be like, oh, let's read this particular passage and give you the same lesson year to year when the feast day comes. We usually try to stay, Yahuwah willing, on the same path that we had already been going, and then use elements of what that feast day is about and intertwine it in, if the Lord allows. Leviticus 23 and 27.
Also on the 10th of the 7th month.
On the 10th day of the 7th month.
A day of atonement.
A day of a what?
Atonement.
Give him atonement by definition for those who don't know.
Kippur, atonement.
Atonement. Continue. I can help you.
It shall be a holy convocation unto you.
It should be a Kadash day or gathering for you. Go ahead.
And you shall afflict your souls and offer an offering made by fire unto Yahuwah.
You shall do what?
Offer an offering made by fire.
No, you shall do what?
Oh, no work in that same day.
No. What should you do?
Oh, afflict your souls.
You shall afflict your souls. Give them afflict.
That is anah. That is to be occupied, be busy with, to afflict, oppress, humble.
To be humble. So you need to humble or afflict your soul. That's what this day is about, right? The day that we just observed. To humble and afflict your soul. They done fired. Somebody took the fall for Tua. Somebody just got fired. Somebody had to take the fall. Let me tell you what I want in just a second. I want you to come over here to the book of Ezra, chapter 8. Give me about verse 15. After that, Isaiah chapter 58. Ezra chapter 8, verse 15.
And I gathered them together to the river that runs to Ahava, and there abode we in tents 3 days. And I viewed the people and the priests and found there none of the sons of Levi. Then sent I for Eleazar.
I said Ezra. I meant to say Esther. Esther chapter 8, verse 15.
And Mordecai went out from the presence of the king in royal apparel of blue and white, and with a great crown of gold, and with a garment of fine linen and purple. And the city of Shushan rejoiced and was glad. The Yahudim had light and gladness and joy and honor. And in every province, and every city, whithersoever the king's commandment.
Oh, that's not bad. That ain't one more. I was right the first time. I don't know why Esther was in my head. I know they fasted in Esther. That's why it's in my head. Ezra chapter 8, verse 18. That's what that was. Ezra chapter 8, verse 18.
And by the good hand of our Alahym, upon us, they brought us a man of understanding.
They brought us a man of what?
Of understanding.
A man of what?
Understanding.
Okay.
Of the sons of Mali, the son of Levi, the son of Yasharal, and Sherebiah with his sons and his brethren, 18. And Hashabiah with him, Jeshiah of the sons of Merari, his brethren and their sons, 20. Also of the Nethinims, whom David and the princes had appointed for the service of the Levites. 220 Nethinims, all of whom were expressed by name.
That's right.
Then I proclaimed a fast there at the river of
He proclaimed a what?
A fast.
He proclaimed a what?
A fast.
Give him fast by definition.
Sown, that is fast or fasting.
Go ahead.
At the river of Ahava, that we might afflict ourselves before our Alahym.
Go ahead and give him a flick by definition in this passage. Stop.
Same word, Anah.
Be humble. Go ahead.
To seek of him a right way for us and for our little ones and for all our suffering.
Hold on. To seek a what?
Seek a right way.
A what way?
A right way.
Give him right way by definition.
That is Yashar, straight, upright, correct.
So they were seeking a Yashar Darak. What verse you in?
Still in 20. We got the end.
All right. Verse 21.
We just finished that, actually. 22.
Verse 22.
For I was ashamed to require of the king a band of soldiers and horsemen to help us against the enemy in the way, because we had spoken unto the king, saying, the hand of our Alahym upon all them for good that seek him, but his power and his wrath against all them that forsake him.
Notice what he said, right? He said he was ashamed to acquire of the king's soldiers to help against the enemy. They said the hand of our Alahym is all that with us for good, and his power and his wrath is against those that abandon us. See, you can't go against Yahuwah and don't think his power and his wrath is not going to be against you. That's not how this works. Let's continue. Verse 23.
So we fasted and besought our Alahym for this, and he was entreated of us.
What does entreated mean? They said they fasted and they sought him. Now remember, when you fasting, you humbling yourself before God.
Athar, to pray, entreated, supplicate.
So he received that supplication. I got you. We're in Isaiah 58 and 1 now, right? So when you're looking at the affliction, and we about to read this here, one of the main reasons of fasting is so your voice can be heard. Now we know Mashiach fasted, because when did they eat the Passover? The night before. So that day of, that man was fasting. Remember, they tried to give him stuff. What he did, he wouldn't take it. See, he was fulfilling the Day of Atonement on Passover, for those who know, because what is atonement? It's an atonement, a reconciliation, a purging, kapurim. So the day of, when Matthew 27 come, that's the next day. They ate the Passover that night. He fasted that day. Let's continue. Isaiah 58 and 1. Cry aloud, spare not, lift up your voice like a trumpet, show my people their transgressions, and the house of Jacob their sins. Yet they seek me daily and delight to know my ways as a nation that did unrighteousness and forsook not the ordinance of their Alahym. They ask of me the ordinances of justice. They take delight in approaching the Alahym. Wherefore have we fasted, and you see not? Have we afflicted our soul, and you take no knowledge? Behold, in the day of your fast, you find what? Pleasure. And exact all your labors. He says, so you give him pleasure, and exact labors by definition.
Perfects for pleasure, that is delight.
That's what you delight in.
And labors.
So what is he telling you?
That is laborer, toiler, or labor.
So you go out here and you go to work. So you go to work and you seek all your things that you delight in, and then you want to ask me, why haven't you acknowledged my fat? Joy, close your legs and fix your clothing. Verse 4, behold, you fast for strife and debate, and to smite with the fist of wickedness. You shall not fast as today to make your voice to be heard on high. Remember, because what does afflict mean? To humble yourself. See, when Mashiach was fasting, not only sitting back looking at that spiritually and naturally, he did that so he could humble himself. Didn't it say he humbled himself even unto the death of the state? So at the name of Yahushua, every knee should bow and every tongue should confess. So the purpose of fasting is to chasten your soul. And what are you chastening your soul for? For humility. Is that would you say that's correct? See, that's what people sit back and look at. See, the Day of Atonement is about humility. That you can humble yourself before God and take his chastening. See, that's what the wicked man was trying to talk about yesterday. Talking about that's why the Lord was chastened, because he had sin. You know what I'm saying? Let's continue. Is not this, is it such a fast that I have chosen, a day for a man to afflict his soul, to bow down his head as a bulrush, to spread sackcloth and ashes? Will you call this a fast, an acceptable day to Yahuwah? Not this the fast that I have chosen, to loose the bands of wickedness, to undo heavy burdens, and to let the oppressed go free, that you break every yoke. Remember, right? What did he say? That all dwelt with him, wisdom and prudence, and that he gave Solomon all wisdom and understanding and charge over Yasharal. Now look at verse 6. What do you take from verse 6? If we're looking at the gospel. I think I called for Isaiah 52. That's right. We ain't finished it. I'm going to get to it right after this here. I'll read it because I'm right there by it. Jeremiah James Bird. What you doing, boy? Yeah, that's what's wrong. You ain't doing nothing. You ain't got no teeth, boy.
I know I don't got no teeth.
What you been out here doing? You been biting Jolly Ranchers? Low Pops? Oh, you pulled your teeth out yourself?
Yeah.
You ain't that tough.
I'm tough.
You tough? Ford tough?
Not that tough.
Oh, not that much. Y'all ain't figured that out? Well, let's take a look. Yeah, you can get the oppressed go free. Give them oppressed by definition.
That is to crush, to oppress.
To crush, to oppress. Somebody give me Acts 10 and 34, sir. I'm just showing you we ain't talking about on the natural level, because when he talking about being oppressed, we going past just saying the chief priests and scribes oppressing people. See, they was oppressing people with the word. And how were they oppressing people with the word? Because they were making merchandise out of people, using them to get unjust gain. Just wait. Say what? Abstaining from sin. Oh, no. This ain't talking about abstaining. They're talking about bands been broke, yokes are broken, burdens removed. No. He's saying that's what he sanctioned the fast for. That what he talking about Day of Atonement. He's saying this is what he made it for. To loose the bands of wickedness, to undo heavy burdens, to let the oppressed go free, and then to let you break every yoke. What's that?
The word band translates as bond.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And guess what? You're in the bond and gall of iniquity. What is you in the bond? Guess what that means? You're a slave. So you see how that go to? He that commits sin is a servant of sin. And if the Son shall set you free, you shall be what? Free indeed. So when he humbled himself and afflicted himself, he's loosing you from the bands of wickedness. We'll look at wickedness in a minute. It's all going to tie into what we've been talking about for the whole week and the week before that. But go ahead and what I call for?
Acts 10:30.
Acts 10 and 34.
Then Peter opened his mouth and said, "Of a truth, I perceive that Alahym is no respecter of persons.
He's no respecter of persons.
But in every nation, he that fear him and work righteousness is accepted with him.
Accepted with him.
The word which sent unto the children of Yasharal, preaching peace by Yahushua HaMashiach.
That's right.
He is Lord of all.
Lord of all.
The word you know, which was published throughout all Judea, and began from Galilee after the immersion which John preached.
What was that word? Come on.
How Alahym anointed Yahushua of Nazareth with the Ruach HaKodesh.
He anointed Yahushua with the Ruach HaKodesh to do what?
With power, who went about doing good and healing all that were oppressed of the devil.
Oppressed to who?
The devil.
Oppressed to who?
The devil.
Oppressed to who?
The devil.
Now, how is the devil oppressing people? Do y'all remember that lady who had the issue of blood? What did he say about that woman? Y'all know what the Lord said about that woman? They don't know what the Lord said about that woman, Jeremiah James Bird. Yeah, and there it is. Let's take a look, because y'all moved a little slow. You ain't come swift. You came swift, Jeremiah James Bird? Why you ain't come swift? Why you don't know? I thought you knew, homeboy. You don't know. Why not? You don't know all the questions. Why you don't know all the questions? But if you don't know all the questions, how you gonna tell me the answer? I gotta make sure what the words are. You supposed to know, Jeremiah James Bird. Because what if I need some help, Jeremiah James Bird? Who gonna help me? You ain't gonna help me? You will? How you gonna help me if you don't know the answers? You know some of the answers? So what answers you know? That's a mistake. Huh?
What you asking?
No, there it is. Luke 13. That's what I want to always be thinking about. Luke 8. I always get that jump. The wrong story. Luke 13 and 11.
Luke said, behold, there was a woman which had the Ruach of infirmity 18 years.
She had the Ruach of infirmity for 18 years.
And was bowed together and could not wise lift up. And when Yahushua saw her, he called and said unto her, Woman, thou art loose from thine infirmity.
You're loose from your infirmity. What he said?
And he laid hands on her, and immediately she was made straight and esteemed Alahym.
Mm-hmm.
And the ruler of the synagogue answered with indignation because that Yahushua had healed on the Shabbat, or said unto the people, there are 6 days in which men ought to work, and then therefore come and be healed, and not on the Shabbat.
Go ahead.
And the master answered him and said, Hypocrite, does not each one of you on the Shabbat loose his ox or his ass from the stall and lead him to water? And ought not his woman, being the daughter of Abraham, whom Hashatan had bound?
What has he done?
Bound.
She got a band on her.
These 18 years be loose from this bond on the Shabbat.
And when he had said these things,
all adversaries were ashamed.
Ashamed.
And all the people rejoiced. And all the esteemed things that were done by him.
Give him wickedness by definition in Isaiah 58 and 6, would you please, sir?
We're going to translate it into wrongs or wickedness.
So he gonna free you from all your wrong, wickedness, or guilt. See, guess what? On atonement, what is atonement about? We're not going through Leviticus 16, but what did the high priest go in there to do? To make an offering for not only for his sins, but for the sins of the what? The people. You know what I'm talking about? So this fast is a day to free those from their sin. Because guess what? On atonement, you're supposed to been praying to Yahuwah that your voice might be heard. And not just with atonement, anytime you fast. Anytime you fast. That's why that particular day is a feast day. Set apart so you ain't got no distractions. You ain't got to go to work. You ain't got to do this. You ain't got to do that. Only thing you can be focused on is humbling yourself before your God so that you can be heard. And then because he said, I chose this fast to loose the bands of wickedness. And again, on John 8 and 33, and then he get on that stake. And what did he loose you from? You know what I'm saying? Now you loose from these bands of wickedness. Why is this important? Because in the image of Alahym made he him. You know what I'm talking about? That's why this is important. The bands of wickedness have to be loosed in order for you to be in the image of Alahym. Then he said also to let the oppressed go free. So guess what? Satan is oppressing people. Like when you look at what he did to Job, that's oppression. See, that's why when that jackass was talking yesterday, talking about demons getting niggas and teach false doctrines, and as you called and mentioned, and which everybody should have paid attention to, when it came time to talking about, well, man, you know, demons torment people. Nobody had an answer for that. Because when you see in the text, you only see in the Old Testament one person who get tormented by an evil spirit. Who is that? And did it give him a good time, or was he around here doing evil stuff? Saul did all that evil to David out of his own heart. You know what I'm talking about? And why did Saul have the evil spirit on him to afflict him in the first place? Because he didn't listen. So he took the Ruach of Yahuwah away and gave him a Ruach to torment him. See, this is why I be telling y'all, people don't really be reading the word, or they read what they want to read.
See, I ain't gonna repeat that though. When they were saying torment, they ain't really say what he was doing to himself when David came to play for him.
No,
He was first.
he was having a hard time. He was having a hard time because David had to come in there and play on an instrument to soothe his soul. So that means, like, yeah, man, that doggone boy, evil spirit to get on you, your life hell, boy. Yeah, that junk ain't gonna have you around here. I shall sin. No, that's not what's gonna happen. That doggone spirit gonna torment you, and your life gonna be hell. You see what it said when it jumped out that one man, said it tossed him around, trying to kill him. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie to you, right? Some people do got unclean spirits on them that move them to commit suicide. You know what I'm talking about? It torment them that badly that they take themselves out. That's not no joke. That's not no game. That's not hyperbole. You know what I'm talking about? Because at the end of the day, the book tell you what depression is. The book describes depression as the ruach of heaviness. So it's a particular breath or a mind state. And then if you have an unclean spirit in you, yes, an unclean spirit could move you to injure yourself, if not kill yourself. And you got book for that. You can see it. Unclean spirit don't move you to kill nobody. If a nigga kills somebody, it's because he a killer. You know what I'm talking about? I'm just here to tell you, nigga be like, oh, he got a demon on him. No, that's him. You know why we like to say people got demons on them? Because it's easier to believe that an outside force could make somebody behave like that versus that this person got a heart like that. You know what I'm saying? Like people, like, you know, Jeffrey Dahmer, a big deal right now. It's easy to believe that Jeffrey Dahmer had a spirit on him than to believe that this man was that perverted and demented. You know what I'm saying? To the point, because guess what? Hold on now. Our word tell us not to eat blood, right? Our law tell us not to eat animals, right? Our law tell us not to have sex with dead bodies, right? He was doing all that, so that lets you know that if Yahuwah told you not to do it back then, that means somebody was perverted and demented enough to do it then. You know what I'm saying? That means it was somebody perverted and demented enough to do it then. And guess what? He said we broke every law. So guess what some of your forefathers were doing? Hitting the corpse. Oh, this is what Bella just asked. I'm reading it to myself. She said, from what we just spoke on with Saul being tormented by the Ruach and David having to play music to provide Saul some peace, could you say that praise and worship lift bonds and bring peace and deliverance from that thing? Now when David played that instrument, it didn't give Saul deliverance. It gave him a brief respite of peace while David played. But when David stopped playing, he was tormented. But the spiritual songs or the praise and worship songs, like you mentioned, it's more what's mentioned in Colossians, that you should admonish, teach, and rejoice in those type of records. Because see, somebody who got an unclean spirit on them, they're going to need more than praise and worship. You know what I'm talking about? They're going to need somebody who had the power to cast out demons by the power of Yahushua on them, like you see what Paul them were doing, or it's going to take a lot of prayer and fasting, depending on what type of unclean spirit they got on them.
As soon as that boy stopped, and you tried to throw the stuff, he tried to kill him.
No, what I say, she said, Sarah just asked, what do you mean all men's heart is evil in this world? We're born into sin. We have to jump on God's spirit, be in covenant with God. He transform our flesh, evil heart, or else we are with the devil. Oh, no, I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying. What I'm really talking about is this here, Sarah, is that when men, you have especially a lot of people who in the word, whether Christian or Hebrew, you know what I'm talking about? that when people do certain things, they say that somebody got a demon on them. And it's easier for us to say somebody got a demon on them than to state what you just stated, that men's hearts are evil. Now, men's hearts are evil, but some men's heart are exponentially more evil than others. You have some men that will go and do some evil that even evil men will say they won't do. You know what I'm saying? See, I've been incarcerated, right? And it's men in there who are stone cold killers, but they say, boy, I ain't gonna molest my child. You know what I'm saying? They'll look at you as a child molester and think that you are exponentially more evil than me. You know what I'm talking about? But both of y'all are evil, though. You know what I'm talking about? But they looking at you like you's a different type of evil. You know what I'm saying? That's right, Mother Sharona, gross darkness. That's right. You know what I'm saying? Gross darkness. That's really what I'm saying is because people want to give the credit to the demon because we just don't want to accept that there are some people who are just that evil. You know what I'm saying?
But see what made him move is he was saying if you sin and you got a demon.
Yeah, that's what the gentleman said yesterday. If you sin and you got a demon on you. No, if you sinning, it's because your heart is sinful. And as she just stated, which you know, you've been taught that the whole time you've been around here. You got to make you a new heart and a new spirit. You know what I'm saying? We already had that conversation. We were talking about the old wine in contrast to being made in the image of Alahym. You can't be made in the image of the first Adam. You got to be made in the image of the second. But Bella saying she think about how the churches push praise and worship before the word go forth. When I was in church, they just had us fast before we went forth with music so we could tap in and connect better. Hey, now I'm not saying that if you've not fasted and you doing some praise and worship that you might not, because see, ain't nothing wrong with no praise and worship music. You understand? Ain't nothing wrong with it, but praise and worship ain't gonna get no demon out you. I can tell you that. You know what I'm talking about? Remember that one when Yahushua came around there to his apostles and he said, "How long must I suffer you?" Because they said they couldn't get him out, right? You know what I'm talking about? And what he told them, he said this type can only come out with prayer and fasting. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to be honest with you, though. Praise and worship is only beneficial to believers. You know what I'm saying? Praise and worship music don't do nothing for an unbeliever. The reason why I say that is praise and worship is going to have elements of the word of Yahuwah in it. So when somebody who's already dealing with the word or seeking to make themselves a new heart or a new spirit or have already done that, and they hear that song, you know what I'm talking about? That's going to have more benefit to them than somebody in the world who don't serve you. Each know, because we done had this conversation too many times. These brews feel like this truth music, we're going to take over the music game and we're going to win soul. Boy, if they ain't going to hear the word, they're not going to hear your music. If they don't hear the word, they're not going to hear your music. If the word ain't going to swim, your record ain't going to do it. I'm here to tell you. But let me show you the verse what they referring to. We just talked about it not too long ago. Come over here to Colossians chapter 2, I believe. It might be chapter 3. But I say you got some brews. It's chapter 3. Chapter 3, verse 15. Because you got some brews who against praise and worship. I ain't got no problem with it. You know what I'm saying? No, I can tell you just from experience there, from being out here preaching that word, praise and worship don't benefit nobody but believers. Yeah, you can't praise and worship a man you don't believe in. See, what we look at is that people hear the songs and but I'm talking about the changing of the heart, the actual service, because worship means to bow down. You know what I'm saying? And boy, if somebody gonna be saved, they got to be saved by preaching. The music ain't gonna do it. It ain't gonna do it. Because I done seen people get pure preaching and still don't be saved. You know what I'm talking about? So I know the music ain't gonna do it if the word ain't gonna do it. That's right. It's just music. That's right. What you say? Yeah, she was despised. She was like, look at him. He making a fool out of himself. He dancing around like a base man. Because she was an unbeliever, just like her daddy. You know what I'm talking about? It's different. Yeah, it's different. When you believe in Yahuwah, we finna read it, and you down, because what Paul, we finna read it. He said, you afflicted, sing a hymn. When Yahushua was afflicted, what they went up there and did? They went and sung a hymn. Them hymns for believers. That ain't for no sinners. That's why I say I ain't got no problem with no type of music for Yahuwah that anybody make. Man, look here, man, I don't care nothing about that. The problem always come in that when these people want to praise and worship for 14 hours and then give you 30 minutes worth of book. See, that means you ain't coming. Y'all, God ain't in here. He ain't in here. You at least got to get the word go for, and then you can sing till your heart busts. You know what I'm talking about? I'm being honest with you. They need the word first, then you can sing. Sing all night for all I care. They just said that's a concert. Just straight up and down, but no, I ain't got no. You know, y'all know what I'm talking about. It's a lot of brew, that praise worship, man. That's that Christian stuff. Man, sing, man. How you gonna tell somebody not to sing to the Lord? Sing to him. If it make you happy, I ain't gonna stop you. Oh, no problem, Bella. No problem. Let me see what's Quran said he had an auntie that killed herself, left a 7-year-old behind. She didn't know Yahuwah, unfortunately. Maybe demons torment her. She tried several times before she succeeded. Probably it could be, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of stuff I can't say definitively because, of course, I don't know every person who done killed themselves. But some people, yeah, man. Doggone demons get in their head, man. Go to messing with them. You know what I'm saying? Convince them to hurt themselves. It's not far fetched from reality. I can tell you that. You know what I'm talking about? Colossians 3:15, right? He said, "Let the shalom of Alahym rule in your heart, to which also you're called in one body, be you thankful. Let the word of Hamashiach dwell in you richly in all wisdom." Listen to what he say. "Teaching and admonishing one another in psalms, in hymns, in spiritual songs, singing with grace in your hearts to the Lord." Ain't nothing wrong with it. And notice who he telling to do this. This is believers he telling to do this to. He say, believers, man, y'all need to sing and admonish one another with songs and hymns and spiritual songs, making melody or singing with mercy in your mind to Yahuwah. Ain't nothing wrong with it. Sing. Sing in the car, sing in the bathroom. I don't care where you sing, wherever you want to. You know what I'm talking about? But that's more for believers. See, and I say that just because of the modern time that we live in, dealing with the word. We think that everything pertaining to the word is for everybody. But some things are strictly for believers. Like, remember, we talked about it many times. Who are signs for? Unbelievers. But who prophecy for? Those that believe. So when you actually go into bearing witness to the witness, that's for believers, because that get them strengthened to continue on the pathway that they going. Like you just said, it's just music to a sinner. Some of y'all know plenty of people, some of your family members, you know what I'm talking about? Some people you knew, they'll cut on some doggone praise and worship song in a heartbeat. Go right around there after that and put a glizzy right in their mouth. You know what I'm talking about? Go right after that, go get drunk, smoke some reefer, play it on their way to go do it. You know what I'm saying? You got people who sell drugs, play all that there. You know what I'm talking about? On their way to go do it because it's just music to them. That's right, Paul. Like what Paul said with a post of what's the point of singing with no understanding what you're singing. Remember, we done looked at that before. He said when you sing praises, you need to sing them with what? Understanding. That means that ain't for everybody. That ain't for everybody. That's for believers. Because the believer can be able to derive some insight from your song. You know what I'm saying? See, the unbeliever ain't got no understanding, so he can't take nothing from it. You know what I'm saying? It's just words to him. Remember, man, a carnal man don't understand nothing. Spiritual man understand all things. And I'm only mentioning that because it's just of grave importance to understand that what can benefit a believer. You dig? You know what I'm talking about? Let me get to Psalm 47 that's Quran that put up there that's quoted. That's got what I just mentioned. Then we need to get back online. So Psalms 47, I pick it up at verse 5. Alahym has gone up with a shout, Yahuwah with the sound of a trumpet. Sing praises to Alahym. Sing praises. Sing praises unto our King. Sing praises. For Alahym, the King of all the earth, sing you praises with understanding. She said the praise team in the church, from what I've seen, has so much conflict. Pastors check in, don't check in often to see if we're living right. My former pastor wanted me still on the team, but I wasn't right. Fights done broken out on the praise team. Woo!
I want to sing better baritone.
I want to leave.
I'm gonna have to leave. You can't tell me I can't sing. But you know why why them fights and all that stuff happen? Because it's not for Yahuwah, it's for attention.
That's right.
She said, I'm gonna say the truth. When I was in the church, I almost fought somebody in the church on the prayer. See, I'm not gonna get upset with you. No, I ain't gonna get upset with you. Now listen to her so she can hear me, right? I ain't gonna say nothing about you finna fight somebody because I don't know the circumstances that led up to you wanting to fight. They could have been disrespectful. They could have put their hands on you. You know what I'm saying? Who knows? But I'm not shocked that would happen if you got a room full of carnal people who will see. Because guess what? It's a lot of people that in the praise teams and choirs that have made secular music careers. So a lot of people sit back looking at it. This is their opportunity to develop themselves so they can become famous and live like Jennifer Hudson and allegedly kill your whole family. I mean, you would know because you play for them people. You know what I mean?
One person better than the other.
I mean, let's be honest. It do be people who better than the other. I mean, we can't sit here and say that there's not people who sing better than this person.
Like you say, though, I know that's common. That's entertainment.
I mean, it is entertainment, but I mean, the whole situation they in is carnal. So, of course, that would be the end result.
But that's what I'm saying. Choir, and I ain't talking about like gay people. I'm talking about experienced choir directors that know like how to control people. That's why I said.
That boy said like when Juanita bought him 1,400 prayers.
Yeah, like, exactly. That's what pick the person who's saying,
What?
That's just unclean.
He
He said they'll fight if you hit the wrong note.
Oh no,
Yeah, that's what practice.
That's an idiot.
I never had it happen, but I've seen it happen. I've seen.
Oh, I'm not saying it ain't no talent. There's a lot of brothers got talent with this word. She said in her case, it was a leadership issue because I was put in that position shortly after I got kicked off. And Tia asked, was that in the Baptist church? It probably was. I ain't never been in no church, so I'm not privy to them type of things. But I know people. And I know when you come about attention and authority and this, that, there, and the third, and everybody's minds and hearts are not right in the aspect of why they doing it, conflict is bound to come. Yeah, it's bound to come. Yeah, I know money on the line because this is how the church get. They offer money.
Right.
Run them out there.
Notes better be right. These notes better be on the court. Money on the line.
Messing with my money. You messing with my emotions. You know what I'm saying? Looking boy. That's how they feel. Well, that's a big old fat, greasy, hate nigga right there. Good God. All right, Isaiah 58:6. That nigga be hating on the regular basis.
That boy dead, man.
No, that nigga ain't dead. That nigga just fat and nasty. Isaiah 58:6. Regularly, consistently, on a multitude of men. I ain't gonna lie to you, right? If a nigga were interviewing me and you asking me about other people, that mean I ain't got nothing going on in my career. I don't want to talk about these niggas. Why you don't want to talk to me about what I'm doing?
That is something. I'm gonna do that on Vlad. I'm definitely gonna ask him. I'm gonna do that. I'm coming out. Bet you knew something.
Huh? Who you got? The you got was on there.
No, you got.
Yeah, he was on there. But they got it straight though. They got him straight though. He had legitimate beefs though. Yeah, he legitimately felt like, hey man. Well, all the niggas was mad with RZA though. They was like, man, your production sucked and you ain't got our money right.
Damn. Well, that'll end the group fast.
I mean, that go back because they said they felt like the production sucked all the way back to Wu-Tang Forever. That's 1998. Yeah, they was like, yeah, your production sucked. You ain't got my money right. You know what I'm talking about? I love you. We family and all, but nigga, screw you. You go over here and do this. But your rhymes is right. But all jokes aside, though, right? You got a lot of people, man. Like, if somebody come to you and they interviewing you and talking to you, and the only thing they can ask you about is other people, that means you ain't got nothing going on them, though. Because all they want you to hear you would talk about another man and what another man doing. I'm gonna calmly leave. I need to get my career in order. This nigga ain't asked me about, so how's your new movie coming? Your next album? How's that TV show going? How you think about this nigga song? Oh, no, I'm gone, cuz. You disrespecting me. You know what I'm saying? Isaiah 58:6, right? So we dealing with loosen the bands of wickedness, undo the heavy burdens. Somebody get Matthew 11:25. Matthew 11:25. We'll look at how you're going to undo the heavy burdens. Give me heavy burdens by definition. Boop. Boop. Nickelodeon. Matthew 11 and 25. But what's that definition for heavy burden? So
Burdens is binding,
binding.
and then heavy is a pole, a bar of yoke.
So you got a bar yoke, a heavy yoke. Girl, what's wrong with you? Well, stop walking away with it. Put it on. Yeah, and she borderline tempting the baby.
He's jumping for it.
Now she wanted bad too. All right, Matthew 11 and 25.
At that time, Yahushua Anthony said, I thank thee, O Abba,
He said, I thank you, Abba,
Yahuwah of heaven and earth, because thou hast hid these things from the wise and prudent
and
hast
revealed them unto babes.
babes.
Come on.
Even so, Abba, for it seemed good in thy sight. All things are delivered unto me of my Abba, and no man knoweth the Son but the Abba. Neither
And
knoweth any man Abba save the Son.
to whom?
Soever the Son will reveal him.
See, can't nobody know anything about anything in heaven unless it's given to him. You can't study your way to that information. You can't read your way to that information. That man has to bring somebody to you to show you that information if he don't show it to you himself. And you know if he show it to you himself, that means you're an apostle. So we already know what the law say. He gonna work a work in your days that you would no wise believe, even though a man told it to you. So the information of salvation is going to be revealed to you from a man. You ain't got to like it. You ain't got to agree with it. That's just the modus operandi of Yahuwah himself. And why is that the case? Because your forefathers said in the wilderness, don't talk to us, Yahuwah, lest we die. Let Moses do it. So that's why you got to get the information from a man. It's only a select few individuals that man will reveal his information to directly. You know what I'm saying? That's not something he's just doing with everybody. See, when we talk about revealing, I ain't talking about, the Ruach Tet and tell you go right. Because something going down. I told you, man, a long time ago, man, young lady told me, she said, man, I be hearing stuff, but I don't never listen. I say, baby, that could be nothing but the Lord trying to see what you going to do. I mean, they told me, man, they said they were going somewhere, and son told them to put on a particular jacket, and they ain't put it on. And when they got out the door, they found out they ain't had their keys, and their keys was in that jacket. I say, baby, could it have been the Lord? Maybe so. Maybe not. But I say, but if it was, he just want to see on something small will you listen. And you ain't even listen. So if you ain't going to listen to that, why would you listen to anything else? You know what I'm talking about? See, we ain't necessarily talking about he revealed to you, hey, maybe somebody don't fool with you. When you talking about revelation, it's like what happened in Matthew 16, like we read last night. He said, who do men say that I am? Peter said, shoot. He said, well, who do you think I am, Peter? He said, man, you the Mashiach, the son of Alahym. He said, blessed are you, Simon Bar-Jonah. Flesh and blood ain't revealed this to you, but my Abba, which is in heaven. See, revelation is actually the revelation of the gospel of Yahushua HaMashiach. If that's not it, you ain't got no revelation. He just hipped you to something. You got to know the difference. You know what I'm saying? Because him revealing something to you as far as the gospel is concerned, that makes you an apostle. You know what I'm talking about? At the end of the day, people going to have to get the word from a man. That's where you're going to have to get it from. Shalom, man. You're going to have to get that from a man. You know what I'm saying? That's what the law says, is it not? Y'all look like you're confused. They know what it say, bro? How you know that's what it say? Somebody get it for him, man. Exodus chapter 20, man. Probably about verse 11. So the people can hear that, man. Now the work of wonder in your days that you'll know why I believe, that's in Habakkuk chapter 1. I can get it for you, though. Exodus 20 and 11.
It says, for in 6 days Yahuwah made Shamanim and the rocks and the sea and all that is in them, and rested the 7th day, wherefore Yahuwah Baruch the Shabbat and made it hollow. Honor thy father and thy mother.
We'll drop down then. We don't need all that. Drop down about verse 15 then. Exodus 20 and 15.
It said, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear
So
false.
we'll get to 18.
19,
19, yeah, get straight to the point. We don't need all the laws.
There you go. It said all the people saw the thunder and lightning.
All the people saw the thunder and lightning.
And the noise of the trumpet and the mountains smoking.
The mountains were smoking.
And when the people saw, they removed and stood afar off.
They stood afar away.
And they said unto Moses,
what they said to Moses?
Speak thou with us.
You speak to us.
And we will hear.
We'll listen to you.
But let not Alahym speak.
Don't let God talk to us.
Lest we die.
Lest we die. And that's why you got to get it from a man.
That's right.
Because you said it out your own mouth. I don't want Alahym to talk to me. We going to die. Say, Moses, you talk to us. So you got to get the word from a man. That's just how that goes. You know what I'm saying? That's what your forefathers said. That's how it goes. That's not a personal preference. That's not my personal opinion. That's just what happened. Let's go to Habakkuk chapter 1. Chapter 1, I believe, is what I want. Yeah, because he gave him a direct revelation. He the first prophet. He the first everything. He the first pastor, the first prophet, the first son of Alahym, the first husbandman. Anything you can think of. The first teacher.
That's him.
That's him. He first everything. Yeah, he. Yeah, I mean, and fourth is in the flesh. He got a monopoly on all of that. I'm trying to remember what a verse said.
His name means embrace, tight squeeze.
Tight squeeze.
That's right.
Okay, it's chapter 1, verse 5. Chapter 1, verse 5.
It said, behold ye among the heathens and regard and wonder marvelously.
Wonder marvelously.
For I will work a work in your days.
I'll work a work in your days.
Ye will not believe.
You won't believe.
Though it be told.
Though it be told.
For lo, I will raise up the Chaldeans.
That's good. He said, you ain't going to believe it even though I told it to you. There's a lot of people ain't going to believe the word even though he told it to them. They ain't going to believe it. Sit down and get out my camera. So let's go back to Matthew 11 and whatever verse you start at. You cold over there, boy? You got low iron? Yeah. You covered up. You cold? Need some iron pills? Oh. Just pills with iron in. Huh? It don't sound tempting. It's very healthy. You eat iron all the time. It's a mineral. You didn't know that? It's usually in animal flesh. You like hamburgers? You're missing out on the iron right there. You like lamb? You like lamb?
I don't think it's familiar.
Lamb. This got iron in it. Yeah, it's a mineral. You ain't learned about that yet, though. Y'all ain't got to the periodic table yet. You ever heard of the periodic table? You're gonna learn about it soon enough. Matthew chapter 11, what verse you in? That's right, Kron.
First time experience.
But you usually get more iron out of cow back. Yeah, you know, hamburgers, steaks.
Yeah, the back. Not the front.
Not the under.
Yeah, not the under, you want the back. You don't want
Right under.
you don't want the udders. Under that, you want his back. That's where all the flesh at in his back.
These niggas said, someone go to the deck and get the back. The lean part, the back.
We talk about actual slaughter. You don't want, you don't want the under. Ain't no flesh under that. That's where all the organs at. The only thing under there is the liver, and if you eat beef kidneys. You know what I'm saying? But all the flesh is on his back.
That's how they say I slapped a piece of bacon.
His
off
back
his
and his butt. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you eat a roast, nigga, you was eating a cow's butt.
Roast, yeah, the roast, I knew that. Left cheek, right cheek. We're on to the meat.
That's cow butt.
Too chewy.
Definitely, you know, they got things.
Too chewy.
That's all back.
Yeah, that thing soft. Yeah, chew that, man. That thing
That's all his
soft.
back. Really the top
You
part
gotta slow cook
of the cow.
No, you gotta say it. You gotta cook like that. You walk
Oh, you didn't know that?
I think they fit off in the juice of that pig.
You gotta slow cook that butt, man.
Come on, man. Matthew 11, man. I didn't know the ground beef was in the underbelly, though.
Yeah,
Now, I knew the short ribs and the flank steaks, because that's the underbelly.
I can see
But
that.
the parts that everybody like the most
Top dollar though, top dollar is that bite.
is that back.
Top sirloin.
Come on, y'all. Get it back together. Matthew 11, verse 27.
There you go.
All right, be quiet, because y'all ain't talking about nothing. Matter of fact, somebody get me some tape. I tape all your mouths up. Nah, that ain't nothing. Your mouth ain't closed. You laughing. Go get the tape. You better find it then. You running your mouth.
It say all things are delivered unto me of my Abba, and no man knoweth the Son but Abba. Neither knoweth any man Abba save the Son, and to whomsoever the Son reveal.
Mm-hmm.
Come unto me, all that labor.
Come unto me, all you that what?
Labor.
All you that what?
Labor.
And I will give you what?
Are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn of me.
Learn of me.
For I am meek and lowly in heart.
Am I?
And ye shall find rest.
Rest for what?
For your soul.
That's right.
For my yoke is easy and my burden is
You
light.
see how he say to undo heavy burdens? He told you take his burden on you because his yoke was easy and it's light, because you need to afflict yourself. Just like he's going to afflict himself, and it gives the atonement. It sets you free. That's what the affliction was for. That's why he fulfilled the day of atonement by being killed. Come on back to Isaiah 52. I got it. Verse 3. Because we ain't finished it. I'll finish it right now for you, though. Thus saith Yahuwah, you have sold yourselves for nothing. You shall be redeemed without money. For thus saith Yahuwah Alahym, my people went aforetime into Mizraim to sojourn there, and the Assyrian oppressed them without cause. Now therefore, what have I here, saith Yahuwah, that my people is taken away for nothing? They that rule over them make them to howl, saith Yahuwah, and my name continually every day blaspheme. Well, guess what, right? That's happening in America. That's happening overseas. This man name being blasphemed by these people. He ain't with it. Therefore, my people shall know my name. Therefore, in that day that I, he that do speak, behold, I. Notice what he said, you'll know my name. What did man told you that the Ruach HaKodesh would bring to your remembrance? All things that he said unto you. And it also will let you, because somebody asked that the other day, does it matter if he say Jesus? Man, let me tell y'all something real, man. Boy, if you receive the Ruach HaKodesh, boy, and that's directing you, man, that's nothing for that man to tell you what his name is. That's nothing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, when I first came home from prison, man, no cap. Man, you know what I'm saying? The fat boy used to watch, see all them One West niggas, you know what I'm talking about? And they used to say Yahweh Shai all the time. Came right in my heart. He said, man, that's not my name. You know what I'm saying? Like straight up now, that's not my name. Because somebody was in one of them rooms arguing. Hold on, Tavon. We're arguing. I'm like, bro, at the end of the day, right? Some of y'all see the chain. It's got his name on here in Hebrew character, right? Y'all remember that thing with Shibboleth in the Book of Judges? What y'all know about Shibboleth in the Book of Judges? You know about that book? With the pronunciation. They say we'll be able to know of you from what tribe you from based on how you pronounce Shibboleth. Same word, but two different tribes pronounced it different. So that means they could have read Shibboleth in Hebrew and said it differently, though it's the same word. So what I was explaining to these people was this. You can see these characters right here that spell Yahusha's name. And somebody will read it and say Yeshua. And somebody else will read it and say Yahusha. Somebody else will read it and say Yahusha. Somebody else will read it and say Yahushai. You know what I'm saying? That's what a lot of people who deal with One West, that's how they pronounce it. No, but what I'm saying is what people don't understand. They think it's a different name, but it's not a different name. It's being pronounced differently by the person who is reading it in the Hebrew letters that they see. The same way somebody will see that YH, UH, and say Yahweh, and some going to say Yahweh, and some going to say Yahuwah. But they all read the same character. The name wasn't different. See, what people think is it's a different name based off how the person pronounced it.
Definitely mean the same thing.
It mean the same thing. It's the same. Remember when we was out there with them niggas in Hammond Plaza and they were going through that? Y'all say it like this here. And they turn around and acknowledge, bro, you spell it the same way we spell it. You just pronounce it like this. But it's the same thing. Y'all don't know about the Shibboleth?
Niggas in Ephraim had an accent.
Nick, that's right. The people in Ephraim had an accent. You know what I'm saying? So they said it differently. You know what I'm saying? And I just want y'all to know that. Like I said, right now, it was ministered in my spirit. That ain't my name. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to hold on to that. That ain't the name. But if we was just to deal with the point, what I'm talking about, they still would spell it the same way that you see that on this chain. They just say Yahushua. You say Yahusha. I say somebody else say Yeshua. Now, I'm not going to bust nobody balls by saying Jesus, me, myself. I don't rock, because somebody got offended about that. Why you just won't say Jesus? Brother, if you want to say Jesus, that's your business. I'm not going to argue with you about that. You know, but you know, that's what a lot of brothers feel like you're going to do. He said Jesus. Or some brothers feel like, why you won't say Jesus? Because I don't want to. And I'm not going to explain to you why I don't want to. I know what you're talking about. You followed me. You caught on after a while who I was talking about. You talking about Jesus? Yeah. Okay. Continue the conversation. We're not going to stop and wrestle mentally about that. For what? What purpose does that? What does that fulfill? You know what I'm saying? I'm different. I don't care. You know, you have some Hebrews. He said Jesus, they're blaspheming. And guess what, nigga? That's why nobody don't listen to you. Because you'll stop a whole conversation to argue about that. And I'm not going to do it. Because you know why I ain't going to do it? Because they're going to see eventually that I ain't never going to use that name. I'm not spending no time explaining why I ain't going to do it. Let's just deal with the information at hand. Let's just focus on what matters. Well, the name matters. Okay, if the name matters, I just want to ask you this question. Have you stopped sinning yet? And how strong is your faith? Because if that name you use ain't got you to that point, I don't want to hear what you talking about, nigga. I don't want to hear it. And guess what? If you don't like it, take it up with your funky behind mammy, nigga. You know what I'm talking about? Straight up and down. But that's what he do be wanting you to do is sit back and argue like a woman. I'm not finna argue with you, bro. Isaiah 52, man, verse 7. How beautiful upon the mountains are the feet of him that bring good tidings, that publish shalom, that bring good tidings of good, that publish salvation, that say unto Zion, your Alahym is king. Because that's what it say when your Alahym reign. So you got to bring good tidings. What is good tidings? It's basar. It's the good news. What's the good news? It's somebody who came to loose the bands of wickedness and to let the oppressed go free. That don't sound like good news to you? And guess how he was able to do it? Because he was chastened. Because he the one who got to build the house. So we know that Solomon is representative of Yahushua resurrecting from the dead. And what had to happen for Yahushua to resurrect from the dead? Give me Proverbs 19 and 18. Let me get my money, cuz. Go ahead, man. Go get that wallet, man. Go get my money. You owe me about $17.42.
Chasten your son while there is hope, and let not your soul spare for his crying.
Don't let your soul spare for his crime.
A man of great wrath shall suffer punishment.
Notice where he say chasten your son while there's what?
Hope.
We already talked about this not too long ago. Hope is expectation of reward. Well, what is chasten? Let's get Hebrews 12 and 5. Let's make it do what it do. Let's move swift.
And you have forgotten the exhortation which
you have
speak
forgotten
unto you.
make it verse 3. Shoot, make it 2, man. Hebrew 12. Matter of fact, they're making 1. I want all that to come out.
Wherefore, seeing we also are compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses,
We are covered about with the whole cloud of witnesses.
let us lay aside every weight and the sin which do easily beset us.
Let's put aside every weight and the sin that easily stops us.
And let us run with patience to the race that is set before us.
Run with patience the race that's set before
Looking
you.
unto Yahushua, the author and finisher of faith.
Look to the author and finisher of your faith.
Who for the joy
Remember,
that
we
was
talked about this one here before. You see, you remember, y'all remember that when we talked this a couple years back, though? The author and the finisher, he wrote the faith and finished the faith. You know how he wrote the faith? Because he the one who gave the word. Go ahead.
who for the joy that was set before him,
For the what that was set before him?
the joy
Mhm.
that was set before him, endured the cross,
Endured the state.
despising the shame, and is set
Mhm.
down at the right hand of the throne of Alahym.
See, you know, let me tell you something, right? That's what that nigga was talking about that with Rebecca. That's what Rebecca did when Jacob said, man, that reproach gonna fall on me. She despised the shame. She said, let that fall on me, baby, for the joy that was set before, because she knew the elder was gonna serve the younger. She said, let that fall on me, baby. That's what Yahushua did. He looked at that for the promise that was set before him. He had joy in his heart. He hated the shame. The shame didn't mean nothing for him. Come on now.
For consider him that endured such contradiction of
Consider
sinners
him that endured such contradiction of sinners
against himself,
against him. He went contrary to himself.
lest you be
Hold
weary.
on, Paul. Do you not realize that go back to what Adam did? Adam went contrary to himself. Adam didn't rebel.
There you go.
She rebelled. Yahushua went contrary to himself. Adam wasn't no sinner.
That's right.
He went contrary to himself. Yahushua wasn't no sinner. He went contrary to himself. Read it again.
That's right.
See, hold on now. I want you to understand something. Don't listen to this here and get caught up on no gender war. You a fool if that's what you think about. He blaming the woman. Nah, we blaming man, you jackass, you. That's dealing with Yasharal, dealing with man. Yasharal more specifically. Go ahead.
For consider him that endured such contradiction of sinners against
Consider
himself.
him that endured such contradiction of sinners. Could you get me 1 Timothy 2:14 on general principle, please? Boop, boop, boop. Boop, boop, boop.
First Timothy 10.
No, 1 Timothy 2:14.
All right, I got to make sure. It said, these things put them in remembrance, charging them before the master that they may strive not about words to not profit, but subverting of the hearer.
Subverting of the hearer.
Study to show thyself approved.
You in 2 Timothy.
I am. Now I'm in first.
Make it 1 Timothy 2:13. Matter of fact, you can make it 2:11.
It says, let the woman learn in silence with all subjection.
Pause. Eve learned in silence and all subjection in the garden. This is something that a lot of people don't want to acknowledge or pay attention to. She read the word right back to the serpent. Did she not?
She did.
So who she learned it from? So that means she learned it in all silence, in obedience. Continue.
But I suffer not a woman to teach,
I
nor
do not allow a woman to teach, nor to do what?
to usurp authority over the man,
So she don't have authority over the man.
but to be
Hold on.
silent.
How do we know she don't have authority over the man? Because he said that your husband will rule over you. Guess what that means? Man don't got authority over Yahusha. That's what people miss it. Why we can't be equal? I ain't got to listen to no man. Then that means you ain't got to listen to God. And who am I to sit here and argue with you? But see, remember, right? This is only pertinent to people who believe the word. See, some people try to say that's about what was going on in the congregation. Timothy wasn't in no congregation. He writing to Timothy, who's a teacher. This ain't the epistle to the Corinthians. This is an epistle to Timothy. He's telling him, this young man, what to do, how to do his job. Go ahead, man. Continue.
But to be in silence. For Adam was first formed.
Adam
then
was
Eve.
what?
First formed.
Then who?
Then Eve.
Then Eve.
And Adam was not deceived.
Adam was not what?
Deceived.
Adam was not what?
Deceived.
Did we not just read in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, all deceivableness of unrighteousness to those that don't obey the truth? So she was deceived because she didn't obey the word. So it said Adam wasn't deceived, right? So guess what that means? Sin did not deceive Adam, right or wrong? Based off understanding, sin deceived Adam? No, it did not. Did sin deceive Yahusha? No, it did not. Continue.
But the woman being deceived was in transgression.
Mm-hmm.
Notwithstanding, she shall
So that's
be
good.
saved.
Now we didn't talk about that part. We'll leave that alone. She was in the transgression. So she was deceived by the sin. So because she was deceived by the sin, he ain't got no sin on him. So guess what he's done? What you was in, Sibby? So what has he done? He has endured a contradiction against himself. He has endured a contradiction against himself, just like the lamb. Run it again.
For consider him that endures such contradiction.
Hebrews chapter 12, what verse you in?
That's 3.
Verse 3, Hebrews 12 and 3.
For consider him that endures such contradiction of sinners against himself.
That's right.
Lest you be wearied and faint in your mind.
That's right.
You have not yet resisted unto blood.
You have not yet resisted unto blood.
Striving against
Ain't
sin.
none of y'all shed no blood, not to sin. Come on.
And you have forgotten the exhortation which speak unto you as unto children.
What was that exhortation?
My son, despise not you the chastening of
Don't
of the
despise
Lord,
the chastening of Yahuwah.
nor faint when you are rebuked of
Do
him.
not fall out when, guess what? Did Yahushua faint when he was rebuked up? Remember we read chasten while your son while there is hope. Let me ask you this question because I'm finna get to it in a minute. Did Adam faint when he was rebuked? He took, just follow me. I'm working my way to something. Come on.
For whom the Lord loved, and he chastened.
Whom the Lord loved, he do what?
He chastened.
He do what?
He chastened.
And what else?
And scourged every son whom he received.
Okay.
If you endure chastening, Alahym deal with you as with sons.
As with what?
As with sons.
As with what?
With sons.
Okay.
For what son is he whom the father chastened not?
Now pause. Give me Genesis 3 and 17.
It said unto Adam, he said, because thou hast hearkened to the voice of thy wife and hast eaten of the tree of which I commanded thee, saying, thou shalt not eat of it. Cursed is the ground for thy sake.
Now back it up to 15, right? Matter of fact, make it 14. Let's see if he tell the woman if he commanded the woman. Let's see what it say. Genesis 3 and 14. Matter of fact, make it 13.
It's saying, Yahuwah, Alahym said unto the woman, what this is thou that have done?
What have you done?
And the woman said, the serpent beguiled me,
So sin has deceived me.
and I did eat. And Yahuwah Alahym said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly thou shalt go, and dust thou shalt eat all the days of thy life.
Name written in the earth.
And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise.
There will be always a continual hatred between the sons of God and the sons of the devil. That's not changing. Because some people are like, oh, a woman got a seed. Stop being a fool. The seed that go in the woman, boy. That mean the seed, that mean the man that come out of the woman. There's always going to be a hatred between them and Satan's seed. Because the seed is the word. Continue.
It says, and unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee.
Go ahead.
And upon Adam, or unto Adam, he said, because thou hast hearkened to the voice of thy wife, and hast eaten of the tree of which I commanded thee, saying, thou shalt not eat of it.
Notice that he didn't say nothing about that. He commanded the woman to do anything, did he? Because who he gave the instruction to? And guess what that go back to? That everybody who teach the word gonna give account for what they done. See how that go back to that Hebrew 13? You're gonna give account. Uh-oh. Go ahead.
It says, thou shalt not eat of it, curse the ground for thy sake, and sorrow thou shalt eat of it all the days of thy life.
So guess what? Now the ground is cursed. So now guess what? You die. He chastened them with death. What he chastened Yahushua with? Oh boy. Come on.
Thorns and thistles thou shalt bring forth to thee. Thou shalt eat the herb of the field. In the sweat of thy face thou shalt eat bread until thou return to the ground. For out of it was you taken.
Did he not eat bread in the sweat of his face in Matthew chapter 26, verse 26? Till you return to where?
Till you return to the ground.
From dust?
For out of it were you taken. From dust you are, and unto dust thou shalt return.
So Adam got chastened with death and affliction. Ain't that what it said?
That's right.
He got chastened with death and affliction. What Yahushua got chastened with? You say when he take on, is it specific to his works? Oh, when he talking about your burdens, he talking about the burdens of sin that man carried. Any burdens, any issues you got, he said, just come over here and give it to me and I'll carry it. That's what he was carrying that stake for. All your problems, all your sins, all your flesh, just give it to him and he'll carry it. That's why he say he couched down between two burdens and saw rest was good. Just give it to him. He'll carry it for you. You ain't got to carry it. You ain't got to carry no luggage. See, you know what our problem is in this life? We like to carry luggage. You want to carry your own bags. When somebody told you, I'll carry your bags. You know what I'm saying? I'll make it lighter for you. But you want to make it hard because you think you're smarter than him or strong as him because you're too proud to humble yourself to say, you know what? I'll just let him do it. Because that's what he want to do. He ain't got no problem with doing it. All you got to do, see, you know, like I told you before, man, so many people done been mistreated. You don't know how to let somebody love you. You know what I'm saying? Not no Mario now, because some of y'all, that was your favorite song. You used to dance in the room to that, didn't you? With your friends. Girl, that's my song. I know it now. You listen to that, Doris? Yeah, you don't look like a nigga like Mario. I like Mario. You like Luigi.
She told me, like who? Like who?
Yeah, she don't like Mario. Oh, you just like that long song? That nigga was simping hard in that song. I mean, the nigga can sing. Doesn't get it wrong. Look at Larry. Yeah, he can.
That boy good.
Yeah, if I was still out here in the world, I'd throw my panties on stage. Oh, so you ain't like him then? Because I think for any unmarried woman specifically, there's an artist that you'll be willing to throw your panties on stage. I ain't saying right now. I'm just saying if there was a time in your life, there is an artist that you would possibly. We know you throw your panties on stage, right, Kelly? Well, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Hold on, Yeti. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. If you would have threw your panties on stage to R. Kelly, that nigga would have skipped that out. New slave. He'd have found you. That nigga like a dog. That nigga have found you and brought you back to his land. Let's see what Yeti got. What would you say to a woman that say they have the ruach and are renewed, that they have authority to be over a man? I would tell you that woman alive from hell because she ain't got no spirit of God in her, talking about she got no authority over no man. Yeah, if a woman told you she had the spirit of God in her and she got authority over a man, she lying. And the reason why I say that is because you can see this here. Deborah was a prophetess and it mentioned her husband. That means she was in subjection to her husband. Nabal was known as a fool and Abigail was in subjection to her husband. These were righteous women. You know what I'm saying? Rebecca got the promise what was coming to Jacob. Yahuwah didn't tell Isaac that. And when she was in subjection to her husband. You know what I'm talking about? So you'll never see, because we had some time period some years back, probably about 2 years ago, where we went through every woman in the world. Not the wicked women. You know what I'm saying? The righteous women. You know what I'm saying? Just so the ladies can see how they behaved and how men interacted with these righteous women. Because you know what I'm saying? You're supposed to cherish a righteous woman and treat her in a different fashion than you would treat some old sinner hoe in the world. You know what I'm talking about? And no righteous woman in the text would ever seek to overthrow the authority of a man because she has understanding to know that her union with that man is symbolic to the kingdom of heaven. So she knowing that she's not overthrowing the man, she's overthrowing Yahusha. You know what I'm talking about? So that's why she wouldn't do that, because she understands the man is representative of Alahym, the woman is representative of Yasharal, and the children are representative of being born through the Ruach, and that every wedding, according to the word, is representative of the kingdom of heaven. So a just woman wouldn't dare. She wouldn't dare. You know what I'm saying? And the Ruach of Alahym wouldn't even direct a woman to do such a thing. You know what I'm saying? Shoot, yes, sir. Yeah, he wouldn't even direct a woman to do something. That's beyond the pale. Hey, Abby. So you see that come back to Hebrew 12 where you start at?
8.
Verse 8. Hebrew 12 and 8.
But if you be without chastisement, whereof all are partakers, then are you bastards and not sons.
Are you not bastards and not sons?
Furthermore, we have had fathers of our flesh which correct, and we gave reverence. Shall we not much rather be in subjection unto the Father of Ruachs and live?
Would you not much rather be in subjection to the Father of Ruachs and live?
For they truly for a few days chasten after their own pleasure, but he, for profit, we might be partakers of his Kadash. Now, no chastening for the present seemed to be joyous, but grievous.
But what?
But grievous.
Was not that chastening that Adam got seen to be grievous? Was not that chastening that Yahushua got seen to be grievous? But what does that chastening produce? Go ahead.
Nevertheless, afterward it yield the peaceable fruit of righteousness.
Remember he said, chasten your son while there is what?
Yeah.
Hope. He chastened Adam while there was what? An expectation of receiving a promise. He chastened Yahushua while there was an expectation of receiving a promise. All this is just showing you what atonement is really about when you humble and afflict yourself. Because he's chastening you while there is hope. What is that hope to receive? That Solomon would come and build the house. Go ahead.
Nevertheless, afterward it yield the peaceable fruit of righteousness.
Now, what are those peaceable fruits of righteousness? The joy, the peace, the long suffering, the goodness, the faith, the love, the self-control. That's what it's going to yield. Come on, man.
Unto them which are exercised thereby.
That's right.
Wherefore lift up the hands which hang down and the feeble knees.
Lift up the hands that hang down and the what?
The feeble knees.
And what else?
And make straight paths for your feet.
Make straight paths for your feet.
Lest that which is lame be turned out of the way.
Lest that which be. See, so guess what, right? Adam had to be, again, right? I just want y'all to understand this and catch it, right? Adam died as a contradiction to himself because Eve was deceived by unrighteousness, by not obeying the word. The same way that Yasharal was deceived by unrighteousness, by not obeying the word. So Yahushua has to come and be a contradiction against himself and die for Yasharal. So Adam has to be a contradiction against himself to die for Eve, showing you what was to come. And when Adam became a contradiction against himself, what ends up happening? He has to get what? Chastened. So what it ended up with Yahushua, he had to be chastened. And what was Adam chastened with? Work, affliction, and death. And what was Yahushua chastened with? Work, affliction, and death. So when you're dealing with Day of Atonement, and this is another aspect to ponder upon when you fasting, you know what I'm talking about? That you were fasting for the purpose of humbling yourself to understand the chastening that came upon Adam and / Yahushua because they were a contradiction against themselves so that the bands of wickedness could be loosed from you and so that you being oppressed could go free. So come over here to Numbers 30, by the way. What they doing to that baby? You can pick it up at verse 8. I'm going to take your face now. Give me your face. Numbers 30 and 8. What's that? Numbers 30 and 8. No, it's not. It's right there. Abigail, you don't know how to read. See? Numbers.
It says, but if her husband disallow her on the day that he heard it, then he shall make her vow which she vowed, and that which she uttered with her lips.
Make it verse 6, just so they could get a full context. Numbers 30 and 6. These are laws about vows, by the way.
And if she had at all a husband where she vowed, or uttered out of her lips wherewith she bound her soul, and her husband heard it, and held it shalom at her, and the day that he heard it, then her vow shall stand, and her bonds wherewith she bound her soul shall stand.
Notice, right? Do you see how them bonds? Now, can continue.
It says, but if her husband disallow her on the day that he heard it, then he shall make her vow which she vowed, and that which she uttered with her lips, wherewith she bound her soul of none effect, and Yahuwah shall forgive her.
Y'all know what that relate to? I will disannul your covenant with death. I will disannul your covenant with death. Yahusha come through, I'm a disannul it. I heard the words that you spake and ran out your mouth. Remember what the people said, what he said. When he's saying we like this here, right? You spoke a vow out your mouth. He said, I can disannul it. Because what did he say? Abba forgive them. They know not what they do. I can disannul, I can disallow that vow. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of brews like to run over here for, it's the truth, right? A woman can swear whatever she want to swear, but your husband has authority over you. He can disannul that vow if he so chose. Before it went to your husband, it went to talking about your father. Matter of fact, back it up to verse 1 so they can just hear it from the jump street.
It said Moses spoken to the heads of the tribes concerning the children of Yasharal, saying, this is the thing which Yahuwah commanded.
If a man
vow a vow unto Yahuwah,
or swear
an oath to bind his soul to a bond,
he shall not
break his word.
Guess what Yahusha did? He took an oath to Yahuwah that he'd come down here and do this here, didn't he? He got to keep his word. What he told Peter. How else is the scripture going to be fulfilled? Come on now. He shall do.
He shall not break his word. He shall do according all that proceedeth out of his mouth.
So don't you know that Yahuwah made several oaths out of his mouth? He ain't going to break his word. He going to do what proceeded out of his mouth. He's going to be an unjust weight and an unjust balance. If he tell a man he got to do that and he don't do it himself. Come on now.
If a woman also vow unto Yahuwah and bind herself by a bond, being in her father's house in her youth.
In her youth now.
And her father hear her vow and her bond where she have bound her soul, her father shall hold his peace at her. Then all her vows shall stand, and every bond with which she have bound her soul shall stand.
Go ahead.
But if her father disallow her in the day that he heareth, not if her vows or her bonds wherewith she have bound her soul shall stand. And Yahuwah shall forgive her because her father disallowed.
So guess what, right? A lot of us done made a lot of vows and bonds against our soul. And because Yahusha heard it and disannulled it in that day, you've been forgiven for that. He won't hold that to your charge.
That's right.
He won't hold that to your charge. He disannulled that vow.
100%.
Come on back over here. You stopped in verse 9 of Numbers 30 because we don't have to reread what we already read.
It says, but every vow of a widow of her that is divorced, wherewith they have bound their soul shall stand against.
So if a woman had been divorced or is a widow and don't have a husband, her vows stand. Her vows stand. So remember when the dude was asking about exclusive rights? Well, there you go. She can vow all she want to. She ain't got no husband, ain't got no daddy. She can make whatever soul swear. She can swear to her soul whatever she wants. Go ahead.
It said, if she vowed in her husband's house or bound her soul by a bond with the oath, her husband hear it and held his peace at her and allowed her not, then all her vows shall stand, and every bond with which she bound her soul shall stand. But if her husband have utterly made them void on the day he heard them, then whatsoever proceeded out of her lips concerning her vow, or concerning the bond of her soul shall not stand.
Her husband
has made them void. And Yahuwah
give me the definition of void.
That is parar, that is to break, to frustrate.
I'm gonna break it.
Make ineffectual.
I'm gonna break it. Now look at verse 13, because that's what we want.
It says every vow and every bound and oath to afflict her soul.
Every what?
Every vow and every binding oath to afflict the soul.
Her husband
may establish it.
Or her husband
may make it void.
Now let's look at afflict the soul.
It's the same thing. No.
Same thing you seen in Leviticus 23. So that's talking about a woman who was finna fast. So every oath that she made to fast, remember what it told you about married people? If they were married, that they should only be separated if it be agreement for fasting. Ain't that what it said? Where you think he got it from? You know what I'm saying? Where you think he got it from? That's why he would say that. Because that woman, she can go make an oath. She can say go fast, but her husband can say no. That's why he said an agreement, because if the husband don't... See, this is what a lot of people get it twisted. They'll focus on the fact that the husband can say no. Not that the fact that her husband may not exercise that authority to say no.
Yeah, it's real that they just say it in
there.
Yeah.
Hey, that's on you. Yeah. See, he may stop you to say, hold on now, because you know how you is.
Yeah.
You know you're not finna do that. Don't do yourself like that. See, they don't, you know what people get that twisted at? They don't look at that as that's a means of protecting you from yourself.
You can tell because it say the father first.
Yeah,
That's what
he's supposed to be doing. But I'm just mentioning that to you because the society we live in, that's what I was talking about last night about the freedom. Because the man, see, a lot of people look at protection as a man jumping in front of a bullet, jumping out and fighting. But it's the wisdom of that man to know how to protect someone from themselves. That's why he said he is able to keep you from falling. That's why he told you, even in any manner of temptation, he makes a what? A way out to protect you from yourself. Because that's what fathers do. That's what husbands do. They're going to protect their wife from themselves. Because get what? When Adam gave Eve the word, that was to protect her from herself. Because if she had no word and she seen that tree, she probably just would have ran up on it anyway. It wouldn't even been no need for temptation. See, that word was to protect you from yourself. So that's a lot of people. Why did Adam protect her? He did. He gave her the word. The same way he gave Israel the word. They wanted him, so I guess you wanted Yahuwah to come down here and stop you from breaking the covenant. Because if you're going to say why Adam didn't protect her, you could be able to say, well, why Yahuwah ain't protect you? You chose to do X, Y, Z. You was in the wilderness as soon as Moses slid up top. You was ready to go worship another god. Why Aaron didn't protect you if that's the case? Ain't it right? Why the other Levite? Why ain't nobody stop you? You had the protection, you had the word, but you chose to fulfill your flesh. That's why he said, I'll disannul your covenant with death. Don't worry about it. I disannul that oath you done sworn. Because basically when you enter into a covenant, guess what you done did? You done entered in, you made an oath. You done made a vow. And say everything in here, this is what I'm going to do. You know what I'm talking about? And that's what people got to understand. Yes, he can stop that vow. Now look at what he say, right? Establish it or make it void. Guess what? Yahushua voided your vow with death, your affliction, the afflicting of your soul with death. And he established the afflicting of your soul when you was looking at atonement, because what he told you every day what you need to do. Luke 9:23. They looking at me like they don't know what I'm talking about. Luke 9:23. Let me show you how he established the afflicting of your soul for you. Right here in Luke 9:23. Know what you did to that baby.
Therefore said his parents, he is of age. Ask him.
You in Luke 9:23? Oh,
that's John.
It said, if he said unto them, if any will come after me.
If any will come after me.
Let him deny himself.
Let him what?
Deny himself.
Let him what?
Deny himself.
Would that not be affliction because you deny yourself something to eat? And do what?
Take up his stake daily.
Take up his what?
His stake daily.
Every week.
Daily.
Every month.
Daily.
Every once in a while.
And daily.
Daily.
And follow him.
So you're going to have to suffer in the flesh. You're going to have to afflict your soul every day. That's a vow he established on your behalf. He has established that vow on your behalf. He's established the day of atonement for you every day. I pray God. You know what I'm talking about? And then guess what? So guess what? How he avoided you to afflict your soul. We already read it in Matthew 11. All you that's heavy laden, come unto me, and I give you rest. Then we just read here, Blake, the brands of wickedness. Then we already read, he said, he that is a sin, commit sin, is a servant of sin, and the servant shall not abide in the house. But if the Son shall make you free, you shall be free indeed. He done voided that affliction of the soul. Because remember what Proverbs tell you, the way of transgressors is what? Hard. You've been afflicting your soul with sin. He said, I void that vow. Praise you, Lord. See, they don't want to hear that. See, them brood don't want to hear that. They do, I can tell her vow's gone. That make you proud of yourself, nigga? That's all you needed, huh? You needed some authority with a woman in your life. Make you feel better about how your mama did you. See, a lot of them boy be upset because they upset how their mama did. Their mama was domineering, emasculating, rough around the edges, call him a whole nigga when he walk in the door because he was 10 minutes late. Y'all like, man, look here, man. Y'all remember that lady the one year when we were downtown, how she was talking to her boy?
Bro, you be remembering.
No, you know why I remember that? You know why I remember that? Because I feel sorry for that boy's soul, boy. Yeah, and she got upset. Because we said something to her. Number one, why is you talking to this boy like that? What's wrong with you? Calling them all type of female dogs and F niggas and all that type of shit. You know, you feel sorry because, see, that boy ain't got a chance, man. If you ain't with him to give him a strong spirit, he's going to be a killer. You know what I'm talking about? And if he's not necessarily a killer, he's going to be a broken man who's going to destroy everybody who path he come across because he's been destroyed. He would destroy before he even had a chance to get started. That boy ain't gonna have no confidence. That boy gonna have low self-esteem. That boy gonna seek validation, and he probably gonna let women mistreat him, if not be a physical abuser of women, taking out the wrath that he wanted to take out on his mama on them. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? That's serious deal. That's why I've been telling y'all for years. Don't yell at them boys. You know what I'm saying? You find yourself in an emotional state, don't deal with that boy. Just let his daddy get him. You know what I'm talking about? If his daddy ain't there, just call him and say, boy, this boy done run me through the ringer, baby. And I know if I do this here, I'm a emasculator. So this is what he did, and you deal with him when he get to the house, because you can destroy that boy. You ain't got no business yelling at no little boy. I don't care if that's your son. Don't yell at him. You ain't got no business going upside his head like that. You'll set him up to be treated like that from women in his adulthood. Because he gonna be like, if mama did him like that, so he feel like that's how he supposed to be treated. Or it's gonna be the opposite. He gonna hate you so much that every woman he come across, he gonna do to them what he wish he could have did to you. You know what I'm talking about? Boy, I done seen niggas mama do him like that, man. The niggas be abusers. You wonder how some dudes end up being abused. I ain't saying all. But a lot of dudes end up like that because they taking wrath out on that woman they want to take out on their mom. You know what I'm talking about? Because y'all know some of these women, it's one thing, you might have to whoop your child, but some women go overboard. And it's not because they just hate their son or nothing like that. It's because y'all emotional creatures and you get angry. And sometimes you go overboard with your anger because you don't know how to rein it in, because it's not necessarily just anger. It's anger with a little mix of frustration. You know what I'm talking about? And in that little mix of, the frustration is what make them go overboard. Then you have the unfortunate situation where the woman hates the father of that child so badly that she sees that father every time she look at that boy and take out her anger towards that father on that boy. You know what I'm talking about? Now, again, this is not an exclusive situation to all situations and circumstances, but for us to say that that's not reality and that some of you didn't observe that in your childhood with some of your peers, we would be lying to ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Because we know we done seen it. God forbid any of you experienced it. You know what I'm talking about? Shoot, Numbers 30 and 14.
It says, but if her husband altogether holdeth shalom at her from day to day, then he established all her vows, or all her bonds which are upon her.
And what?
He confirmed them.
He what?
He confirmed them.
Because he did what?
Because he held his shalom at her in the day that he heard them.
But if he shall
anyways make them void after he have heard them, then he shall bear the iniquity.
Now listen what he said, right? If you try to void the vow after you heard it and you didn't say nothing, you gonna bear that sin if that woman don't do it. If you let her slide. You know what I'm saying? Now that ain't even let her slide. Listen what he said, right? If he shall anyways make them void after he heard them, he shall bear her iniquity. So if you did not say, I disannul this vow when you heard it, and she don't keep it, and you try to void it after it, not saying, oh, she broke it, now I'm gonna disannul it. Oh, you didn't, you heard it, you ain't say nothing, you come back later and void it, and then she go do opposite what she vowed, you gonna bear that sin because you supposed to void it the day you heard it. You know what I'm talking about? That's why when the people said what they said, that's why he said, I will forgive them. They don't know what they do. I heard your vow and I disannulled it the same day. You know what I'm talking about? I can't come back later after the fact and make it void, because if I do that and you break it, now I got to carry that sin. You see how you who will cover himself on all base? See, a lot of people don't realize this. That's why he say, we read it last night, the same law word that you heard, that's going to judge you in the last day. Because the same law that everybody love to scream, you got to keep this, that, and the third, he fulfilled this same law, and a lot of people are going to be condemned by it because they didn't believe those good tidings upon the mountains. Because how can you believe on him whom you have not heard? A lot of people don't believe, they just out here. You know what I'm saying? And like I say, a lot of people will read that Numbers 30 and think it just give this man all that authority. But you just seen what he said now. Don't be no coward now. Don't try to disannul no vow after you heard it. Because that woman bound to that vow because you ain't say nothing right then. See, Yahuwah had already, remember, the lamb was slain from the foundation of the world. So your vow was disannulled before you even said it. He didn't know, yeah. Yeah, I told you. Matter of fact, get to Matthew 5. I don't knock nobody for saying no. You can swear. Remember what Solomon told you. It's better for you to not vow than to vow and not keep. You know what I'm saying? It's made up. Yeah, we went into that some years back. I can't remember. I think it comes from some Europeans, if my memory serves me correctly.
Matthew 5, starting at 33.
Yeah, Matthew 5 and 33. But yeah, you know how people be holding up, talking about say the vows or hold the Bible up? No, that's not in here. You know they ain't here. We done been through this book too many times. We done ran across that by now.
Again, you have heard that it have been said by them of old time, you shall not forswear yourself.
You shall not forswear
But
yourself.
shall perform unto Yahuwah your oath.
You shall perform unto Yahuwah your oath.
So I say unto you, swear not at all, neither by Shalahym.
He said don't swear at all, not by heaven.
For it is Alahym's throne.
That's why Alahym throne at.
Nor by the earth, for it is his footstool.
That's his footstool.
Neither by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great king.
And what else?
Neither shall you swear by your head, because you cannot make one hair white or black.
Go ahead.
But let your communication be yea, yea.
Let your yea communication be yes, yes.
Or no, no.
No, no. Because anything more than that,
Come of evil.
come evil. So he just like this here. What's the point of, you know why that's the case? I'll show you why. Zechariah chapter 7. Give me about verse 14. Tubby, man. You got my money? Your name Stevie Wonder. Somebody said, boy, they was at a game, man, Laker game. Shaq shot a free throw. Stevie Wonder talking about, no, he said it was LeBron. They said that nigga said, Brig. The nigga said, how could he know that? I said, boy, that nigga wild. Because he probably can. He got to be able to see what that doggone hatchet job his barber been doing to him all these years.
I saw a video with Mike and it fell and he caught it on stage. It's on YouTube.
Yeah, I seen him before. He told me something.
I seen one of them say grab the wheel.
They got scared. Hey man, go ahead.
You gotta see it.
I said that back. I hope he can see it.
I can see him.
Boy,
I can see him.
that nigga been walking around with that hair like that, and he can see it.
That's one thing about it, if they can see your other sisters, right? If you feel like you're cut from the table, and you about to knock it over, I can see like you can feel that. You see Ray Charles up before that arm, I she fat. I mean,
Yeah, Ray Charles right here talking about, hold on, that's a fat boy. I'm good.
I ain't got to see it.
Let me say he put his hands on. Oh, you beautiful.
What?
I said that boy, that's good. That boy, that's good. What you got for me, man?
Okay, go ahead.
Where you at?
Zechariah 7.
Zechariah 7 and make it 14.
14. That's but I scattered them with the whirlwind among all the nations whom they knew not. Thus the land was desolate after them, that no man passed through nor returned, for they laid the pleasant land.
Okay, I'm in the wrong page. We're too high. Come over here to verse 8. Zechariah 7 and 8. Matter of fact, you can make it Zechariah 7 and 4. Shoot, matter of fact, 3, because it's talking about fasting. Not because it's talking about fasting. Zechariah 7 and 3.
And to speak unto the priests which were in the house of Yahuwah of hosts, and to the prophet saying, should I weep in the 5th month, separating myself as I have done these so many years?
Then
came the word of Yahuwah of the hosts unto me,
what he said,
saying, speak unto all the people of the land
and to the
priests,
saying,
when you have fasted and mourned in the 5th and 7th,
when you, and it's the 5th and 7th month, you know the one in the 7th month, that's atonement. Come on now.
even though 70 years did you at all fast unto me? To me?
Look at what he said. For the whole time as you were in Babylon, so guess what that means when they was in Babylon, what they were doing? They were keeping Day of Atonement. But you know how we know this? Do you know how we know this? Because of the book of Esther, chapter 3, verse 8. Said they had diverse laws different from everybody else, because we know that's the time period of them being in Babylon, because the Medes and Persians had took over. Who did the Medes and Persians take over from? From Babylonian, from Nebuchadnezzar. So that's how we know that Zechariah is during that time period after they came out. So that means the whole 70 years they was in Babylon, they were keeping the law. See, that's for the stupid niggas that say they ain't keep the law in captivity, you big jackass you. You non-read nigga.
And when you did eat and when you did drink, did you not eat and drink for yourselves?
Look what he said. Did you not do what?
Eat or drink?
But see, the for yourselves ain't there. So all you did was eat and drink. That's why Paul said, don't you got houses to eat and drink in? You supposed to be coming together for the Lord, but instead y'all eating and drinking, doing all your pleasure. That's what you're doing.
Not the words which Yahuwah have cried by the former prophets.
Not the words.
When Jerusalem was inhabited in prosperity.
And in what?
In prosperity.
Okay.
And the cities thereof round about her, when inhabited the south and the plain.
Uh-huh.
And the word of Yahuwah came unto Zechariah, saying,
what he said?
Thus speak the Yahuwah of hosts, saying, execute true judgment.
Execute what?
True judgment.
Execute what?
True judgment.
And show
mercy and compassion.
Every man
to his brother.
And oppress.
Not the widow.
Okay.
Nor the fatherless, the stranger, nor the poor. Let none of you imagine evil against his brother in your heart.
But what they did?
They refused to hearken.
Go ahead.
And pulled away the shoulder and stopped the ears that they should not hear.
And made their hearts
as an adamant stone, lest they should hear the law and the words which Yahuwah of hosts hath sent in the spirit by the former prophets. Therefore came a great wrath from Yahuwah of hosts.
That's what he told them. Now go to Zechariah 8 and pick it up about verse 13 and listen to what he say.
And it shall come to pass, as you were cursed among the heathen, O house of Judah, house of Yasharol, so will I save you, and you shall be a blessing. Fear not, let your hands be strong.
Let your hands be strong.
For thus say Yahuwah of hosts, as I thought to punish you, when your fathers provoked me to wrath, say Yahuwah of hosts, and I repented not.
So again,
have I thought in these days to do well unto Jerusalem, and to the house of Judah, fear you not.
These
the things that you shall do.
Speak you every man
the truth to his neighbor.
Execute
the judgment of truth and peace in your gates.
And let none of you
imagine evil in your hearts against his neighbor. And love no false oath.
Love no what?
False oath.
Love no what?
False oath.
For all these things
that I hate, said Yahuwah.
So he don't like false oaths. Look what he told you to do repeatedly in both instances. He just told you to do what? Tell the truth. So then necessarily you don't need to take no oath. He just told you to tell the truth. That's what he told you to do. You ain't got to do it because all you need to do is just tell the truth. Come over here to Ephesians 4. I got it. Make sure we're in the right spot. I'm in Ephesians chapter 4. I pick it up at verse 22, and we'll end right there. That you put off concerning the former conduct of the old man, which is corrupt according to the deceitful lust. Be renewed in the ruach of your mind. That you put on the new man, which after Alahym is created in righteousness and true kadash. Wherefore put away lying. Speak every man truth with his neighbor, for we are members one of another. You see what he told you to put away? Lying, because you are the same body. Otherwise, just let your yea be yea and your nay be nay. Be you angry and sin not, let not the sun go down upon your wrath. What that mean? I wouldn't care how angry you was. When that sun go down, that junk that need to be over with. Neither give place to the devil. What do y'all think that means, giving place to the devil? Yeah, don't give him no opportunity. No, watch and pray. Lest you enter into temptation. So the ruach is willing, flesh is weak.
That's why I say to forgive him, because we know.
That's why I say we're not ignorant of Satan's devices.
Yeah, you letting that thing linger in the morning, put you in some sin.
Mm-hmm. Let him that stole steal no more, but rather let him labor, working with hands, the thing which is good, that he may give to him that need. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister mercy unto the hearers. Grieve not the Ruach HaKadosh Alahym, whereby you are sealed unto the day of redemption. Let all bitterness, wrath, anger, clamor, evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. Now let them know what bitterness is in the Greek.
It's pakria, that is bitter gall, extreme wickedness.
Extreme wickedness.
Bitter hatred.
Bitter hatred. So basically, let all hate, what he just told you, right? Don't let no man imagine no evil against his neighbor. Ain't that what he said? Don't hate your neighbor for nothing.
Hate your brother in your heart.
Now you a murderer. Go ahead and let him know what clamor is.
The outcry, a tumult, grief.
So a tumult, grief. Don't be around here grieving people. Don't be causing no folly. Give them evil speaking.
That's slander, detraction.
Stop lying on people. That's a tale.
Speech.
That's a talebearer. Remember, a talebearer is not a gossiper. A talebearer is a slanderer. You're injuring speech. You're speaking, trying to injure somebody with your words because you're lying on them. Ain't that's what they did to the Lord? Went up and down as talebearers, violating the law.
And the malice is desire to injure, ill will, malice.
Now malice, you want to hurt somebody. You didn't got caught up in wrath. Back up to 29, give them corrupt communication.
said worthless, rotten,
Worthless and rotten speech.
putrefied.
Putrefied. You know what something mean when it putrefied?
Indeed.
That's dead. Get where that take you to. Life and death is in the power of the tongue, and the abundance of the heart, the mouth speak. And a good tree can't bring forth corrupt fruit, and a corrupt tree can't bring forth good fruit. So just go ahead and make the tree good and make it fruit good. You understand? So when you looking at it, right, if you got dead speech, what good is it for? Remember I told you a long time ago, man, look here, you got to watch them old red pill YouTube niggas, all that junk, because that junk ain't no godly speech. Really need to my Anthony Spade said, you shouldn't, I don't care what Anthony Spade said. That nigga a sinner. You know what I'm talking about? If I'm looking for godly discourse, I ain't looking for it from no sinner. That don't make sense. That don't make common sense. You know what I'm talking about? He's saying, be you kind one to another, tenderhearted, forgiving one another, even as Alahym for Hamashiach's sake have forgiven you. So hallelujah for Yahushua in the word. We'll stop right there for now. Who are willing, man, what it is, October the 4th, that's 3 days from now. We'll have service at 8:30 p.m. The first day of observation of tabernacles. And from that point forward, we'll have service every day after that. Any day that Friday night will be regular 9 p.m. Every other night besides that is 7:30. So that means Wednesday is 7:30, Thursday is 7:30. Saturday is Saturday is a daily double. So we probably stop a little bit sooner on Saturday afternoon because we'll be picking right back up again at 8:30 Saturday evening. You know what I'm talking about? Sunday at 7:30, so on and so forth. So I bless y'all at the house Alahym in the name of Yahushua. Love y'all, Yahuwah willing.
Thank you.
We're gonna go from there.
Thank you, Robert.
Those of y'all on Clubhouse, man, I appreciate y'all. And